Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Warner Stills.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad, dickhead. Thought I'd get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's really... Fuck you too, asshole.
Hey, come on.
Hey, this is a family show.
This is a family show we're trying to
I
run
know.
here.
You're a
Okay.
shit disturber. For those people watching this, and no one is, but for those watching this and don't know, this guy's always raising shit. This is going to be good. I'm so glad you're here, man. It's been, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was a long time coming for some reason.
Yeah,
I
you've
don't
been
know.
quacking about this for so long.
I know, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've been quacking about it for a while, but yeah, it's nice to have you here. So we're gonna bullshit about all the shenanigans and shit that you got up to in life over the years.
Well, we don't have that much time.
I know, right?
Okay.
So just quickly, jobs you've had.
Okay, starting in high school, my dad got me a job in a sheet metal factory.
Sheet metal. Okay.
Hate it.
Okay, next job,
I
and we'll
went-
go back.
I went out and got myself a job with a moving company
Oh,
and moved furniture around with these two
Oh, that sounds
quackos.
fun.
No, that was a fuck.
okay, next one.
Then I came out to BC, and then I started in a planer mill. Then I progressed into the woods.
Yeah,
And
cutting
then-
trees.
No, not cutting
No.
trees, but working in bush mills,
Okay.
sawing up
Yeah.
railway ties and
Okay.
lumber.
Oh, yeah.
And then from there, just driving truck, running heavy equipment, helped build an airport, running one of those buggies, scraper buggies,
Mm-hmm.
running cat, fighting fires with D8s. Moved down to Kelowna for a year, got a welding ticket,
Yeah.
and then did a lot of welding.
Mm-hmm.
Worked for Point Hope Shipyard, which was called C-SPAN at the time.
Yeah.
Um,
So welding, logging. Were you
working in the mine?
You work in a mine?
Working 2 mines.
Yeah. So all
Um,
sorts of shit, eh?
All sorts of shit.
Awesome.
Then I ended up in 77, breaking and falling, and for 25 years I was, 25 years I was falling, and 7 years before that in the camps, falling. So
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, 31
Right.
years, 32 years.
32 years of cutting down trees.
Yeah.
Decimating the forests of
Decimating
British
the forest so you
Columbia.
can build a fucking house.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to cut any fucking trees down, but then what's our furniture going to be made out of? Plastic?
Yeah. I'm spitting on your floor.
Fuck, whatever.
Okay.
We're outside.
Okay.
That's, yeah. So I just wanted to get that, kind of like a little synopsis, because I know you've done a lot of different shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of wanted to get that laid out for the viewers, you know, because this is the journey we're gonna take today. Oh, you see what I'm saying? See what I'm doing here?
Okay,
It's
yes.
like a storyteller.
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I don't know either. You've been drinking already, I
Yeah.
see.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have a little drink today. I mean, fuck it, it's early, but whatever. Okay. So you need. Oh, you don't bring fire. Yeah. Hopefully that works, or we're fucked. I just filled it, so it should work.
Ooh,
Look at that. Nice. I don't have any others. Nothing else. Get that thing lit. There you go. Looking good. Hey, probably the best light that I've had on the show. Everyone else needs a fucking lesson, or doesn't, or all of a sudden they get in front of the camera and they forget how to light a goddamn cigar.
Yeah,
They've
and
only
these-
smoked 5 a day. These fucking guys.
I know. I've been smoking for 20 years. How do you light it? Jeez.
I don't like this one with the little nipple though. I always have a problem lighting
it
that.
takes a while for
Yeah. Don't know if I should light it or lick it.
whatever. It's your place.
This cigar. Thank you, Pete. This is our
yeah.
friend Pete's a granddad.
Right.
And this is his the cigar he gave the boys for
That's right. I have
that.
one.
Yeah. Okay, so you were born where?
Born in Germany.
You were God damn, I didn't know that.
Didn't you know that?
No.
Oh. Born in Germany, 1949.
Yeah.
And my dad came to Canada in 53, I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
All these dates are...
Yeah, more or less.
That's a long time
Except
ago.
for the birthday, right?
Except for the birthday. I got that one figured out because I'm looking for my presents.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came to Canada in Northern Ontario. He started
Came here after the war, right? Like
after the war,
yeah.
yeah. Because there was nothing left over there, of
Yeah,
course.
it's just
So-
fucked, yeah.
Yeah. So he started cutting cordwood, actually.
Mm.
And all these jerkwater towns in northern Ontario, Blind River, Iron Bridge, geez, there was a ton of them. And then he ended up, because he worked in the mine in Germany before the war, he ended up getting a job in Sudbury and working in the mine there.
Okay.
Inco nickel mine. And so we ended up moving from all these little jerkwater towns, ended up moving into Sudbury, and that's where I was till grade 8.
That's where what?
That's where we lived till I was in grade 8.
To grade 8, yeah.
So, but I did start in a one-room schoolhouse.
Ah, is that a fact, eh? God damn, you're older than dirt.
I know when I think about it. You always hear these old guys on TV. I was in a one room. Well, this was a one-room schoolhouse. I think it was grade 1 to 6 or something, and a big potbelly stove in the middle, and we could toast our sandwiches at lunchtime.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I know. Now I try to do that. Now you'd have to have a fire department with the kids, right?
Yeah, so like it was like a little coal stove, I guess.
A wood stove.
Oh, it was wood.
Yeah,
wood stove. Yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake!
And I'd get a ride home with the teacher. She'd drop me off. I don't know how far it was from our driveway. She'd drive me home. I'd get out and go across the road and go up our driveway. So one day she pulls over and says, "Bye, see you tomorrow." And I slammed the door and I ran out in front of her car. Boom! Right into a taxi.
Oh, jeez.
That was coming by. And another half a second, he would have hit me like a bug in a windshield.
Yeah.
Right.
You ran into the side of it?
I ran into the side of it.
Holy shit.
And he must have been doing 60.
Oh.
So I think that set the tone for my whole goddamn working existence.
Just shithouse luck?
Just shithouse luck. just shithouse luck. Just lucky I hit the side of the...
Yeah.
But like maybe near the back of it, I can't remember.
Yeah. But the side.
And it spun me off.
Yeah.
And
did he even stop? Did he know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he knew.
Yeah, well, he knew something hit him on the side. Right?
Yeah.
So, and he stopped, and the teacher was having a fit, of course. And,
yeah. You walk away from that one?
Well, she carried me away.
Yeah.
And took me over to the house where Mum was and explained it all, and hit me so hard I shit my pants. And Mum was cleaning me up, and the ambulance came, and but there was nothing.
Jesus Christ.
A couple of bruises.
Fuck.
Yeah, just
holy fuck.
Boom. So.
God damn.
Mm-hmm. And then, well, if that happened today, that teacher would be gone.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
One of those things.
Yeah.
So, and and then when I came back to the classroom, it wasn't a Lego set at the time, it was a Lincoln log set. I still remember that. Oh, all the kids here chipped in and got your Lincoln log set. And
oh, that's nice.
I'm pretty sure she was sitting there thinking, thank the fuck he's still alive.
Yeah.
She probably bought it herself, of course.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that was all. It was all okay.
Yeah, she's thinking, thank Christ. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? You guys were immigrants anyway, and you would never sued anybody. It would have just been, no fucking way. No way.
I think when the old man came home and heard about it, he gave me a slap in the head.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's you dumb fuck. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So once you left Sudbury, where'd you go? Came out west?
Once we left Sudbury, the old man got laid off at the mine. He just finished fixing his house up.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And they laid a whole bunch of people off. And we moved to Toronto.
Oh, Toronto.
And he got his, engineer's ticket to run boilers and stuff.
Yeah, like a steam engineer or
whatever.
Steam
engineer, whatever it was. And then he managed apartment buildings, and they still had all the boiler things down in the basement. And he looked after that, so.
Yeah, right.
Then I went to one high school in grade 9, one high school grade 10, and 11 and 12 stayed at the same high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When'd you get out of there?
When?
Yeah, when'd you leave Toronto?
68, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Came to BC.
You came to BC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your dad stayed out east?
Oh, yeah.
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 Did he ever come out here?
Yeah, they all ended up coming out to Invermere.
Yeah. So at this point, you're just leaving. You're just getting out of high school, basically, and
just getting out of high school, and
And you're just like, I'm out of here kind of thing?
Well, I had a big fight with the old man, and he kicked me out in a manner of speaking. And he's quite a drinker, so. And he'd been drinking for 3 months, and then one day he came in, he was sitting in his chair. And I said, "Oh, you're shit-faced again, eh?" And the only time in 3 months he hadn't had a drink.
Oh.
And he just flew off the handle. And we had a big squabble, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm out of here."
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, it's a fuck. When a guy drinks too much, it's like...
Yeah.
It's no fucking good.
It's no good.
No.
So, and so just at the time, one of my buddies said, "I'm going to Vancouver. You want to come?" Me? So we went to Montreal to see a friend, one of his friends, who we were going to stay with for a couple of days. And get there, and the guy's laying on the couch. He's got a needle in his arm. I thought, holy Christ. And that put me off of drugs. It did. It really, I thought, holy shit. That looks like fun.
Yeah.
Laying there like a potato.
So this is the buddy. He's going to go see his buddy.
Yeah.
You get to the house. You go in. He's like laying on the fucking couch, needle hanging out of his arm.
And the place is just a shithole.
A shithole. Yeah.
Right.
He's a junkie.
He's a junkie.
Yeah.
So that was one of the good things too. That cured me of, I smoked some pot and stuff like that, but
yeah.
Nothing in the big leagues.
Yeah. So what the fuck did you need to see this asshole for?
Well, he just a friend. He didn't realize that was that.
Oh, he didn't know that.
He didn't know that what was going on there.
Right.
So we stayed there 2 days, and we took off. We got the train to Vancouver, and ended up at Simon Fraser University for some reason. My buddy knew somebody up there. We're looking for a place to stay. They had this place called the Rotunda up there, and all the kids used to come in, and it was just as big as this whole yard here, and it had benches all around the outside, around the circumference, and kids just sat there and made notes or had a lunch or
right.
So we stayed there. We sort of crashed there at night. And
well, you got no money, I guess.
No, I think I had $2 in my pocket.
Oh fuck.
And so for lunches we'd I got the bright idea going to the library, and all the kids are working, and then the kid would get up to get a book, and his lunch bag would be sitting on the desk, and when he's getting his book, I was getting his lunch. I had to eat, right?
To eat, yeah.
Right, no, nothing malicious, but I thought if he can have 4 sandwiches and I can't.
Yeah.
So.
Fuck it.
And then I ended up meeting my buddy that lived in Invermere, just by chance.
So, at SFU?
Yeah. So he was there taking a course, some geology courses, and realized.
But you didn't know him at this time.
No, I didn't know him.
You just met some guy.
Just meet some. I was sitting there one day, and he sat down beside me, and he opened his books, and and then we just started talking, right? Blah blah blah. Where you're from? Oh, East Kootenays. I had no idea.
Where the East Kootenays was.
Anything past Thunder Bay, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Right. So, and this went on for 3 or 4 or 5 days. He comes in there every day to look at his notes or study, and well, we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't go to downtown Vancouver. We didn't have any money.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then we were still stealing lunches, trying to figure out what we were going to do. And one day, I'm going to call everybody Bob.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people forget. And this sort of protects the innocent.
And some you don't want to encourage. Yeah, sure.
Right. So I'm sitting there, and Bob, I said, "What's going on today, Bob?" And he said, "Oh, I'm going to Invermere." Because now I'd learned a little bit about his history. And he was a guide up north in Atlan, and he was born and raised in Invermere. So he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing. I'm waiting to do something. Waiting to
figure out where to go.
Yeah.
What to do. Yeah.
What to do." And so I said, "You want to come with me? Go to Invermere?" "Oui, right." So my other buddy was there. He comes by. I said, "See you, Chad. I'm going to Invermere." Okay. He didn't give we weren't brothers or anything. So
Jesus.
and off we went.
Mm-hmm. So you're in Invermere, in the Kootenays.
Well, okay, before we get there.
Yeah.
So Brian's got a little TR3.
Okay.
And this is getting on September. It snows and we have to go through the Rogers Pass.
Oh, yes.
And I have no idea. We're driving along out of Vancouver. You know how you see the mountains in the distance.
You got no idea how big those fuckers are, right?
And
From back east. There's no one, you don't, until you're in them.
No.
You got no idea.
No idea.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these things and I'm thinking, number one, how the hell do you get through it?
Yeah.
All I could envision was all these cars piled up against a big block of rock. And so we went up. So we got a sleeping bag over us in the car because it's got a heater about that big. The heater's smaller than that, lighter, right? The heater doesn't work, and it's -20 out.
Oh,
So
already
we're wrapped up.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
In a sleeping bag. So we get up to the Rogers Pass in the snowstorm, and it's at night.
Oh, Jesus.
And
in a TR3?
In a TR3.
Yeah, which, for those of you that don't know, I think a candle makes more light out of a headlight than there's those headlights.
Yeah. And I think the handle runs on the same heater.
Yeah.
Or the candle.
Yeah.
So, so here's getting back to what I said about the taxi earlier. So we're behind the semi, and we're going down the other side now off the pass.
Yeah.
Through the snow sheds.
Yeah.
And the semi's just going.
Yeah, they go slow down. Yeah.
And Bob's going, oh fuck, and he's looking, trying to, and the snow is blowing, and you can't see anything out of the windshield because
no, the snow is brutal when it's blowing like that against your windshield, and the lights are on. It's night. You can't see shit.
So we go through one of the tunnels, and it's a one laner.
Yeah.
And me and Brian's or Bob.
Yeah, you already said Brian twice, so fuck whatever. No one's going to know who he is.
No, he's passed anyway. So, and so then he says, fuck it. And the next snow shed coming up is a double one coming up.
Mm-hmm.
He goes down that one. He goes down the up one.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Goes through the up one of the big long ones. And I have no idea what's
going on exactly.
And the semi-driver, we're passing him, and you could see him through the openings there, and he's going, me, like you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Right? So there you go again. We just dodged a bullet going through. If something would have been coming up.
You're fucked. Oh, head on.
Head on.
Yeah.
So that's how...
That was your introduction to Invermere.
And, yeah.
So you must have had a place to stay when you got there because it was already getting cold. It's not Vancouver.
I stayed at his mom's place.
Yeah.
She had room. So, and I was there a week.
And you must have gotten your first job out west.
And I got my job first 5 days I was there.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
Down at the planer mill.
At the planer mill.
And it's like walking from here, like down the hill, and it was right there.
Yeah.
So, and it was just, everything was just so new. So.
Was it exciting or scary?
It was exciting. It was exciting, and it was scary. And but I kept an open mind about all that. Asking for the job at the planer mill. He said, you ever worked in here before? No, shit. I said, I'm from Toronto. I know dick all about dick all. And he said, okay, just pile lumber. You need a brain about that big to pile lumber, right?
Yeah.
So you're not building a space shuttle or anything like that, so pile lumber. So I'm piling lumber. And then pretty soon some guy says, go get the forklift. And, wow, what a forklift. There's about 27 different levers on these whole forklifts, right? So, and you watch the guys drive it earlier, kept an eye on it, and next thing you know, grab that forklift. Okay, get on it, make a couple of mistakes, and then you go lift a sling of lumber over, move it over here. And that's the whole...
On the job.
That's how it all went all the way through all those little jobs I had.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your eyes open and your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're there, piling lumber. Now you're driving the forklift.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get a different job. You stayed there for a while.
I can't remember how long I stayed there. It must have been till the summer, because I remember working in the yard in the summertime. And then I got to know where all this lumber came from, because there was also a resaw mill.
Mm.
So you get big cants of lumber coming in, and we'd resaw them on the big bandsaw.
So where were the cants made?
They were made out in the bush.
Oh, they cut them out there.
They cut them out there. For
so a cant is you get a big round log,
Yeah.
and you put you square it off. Is that right? And then that's a cant.
Well, it could be. There's a lot of things. A guy could say, I want 8 by 8, 12 feet long.
Right.
Right, and that's what they cut out there.
Okay.
But lots of times they come in 4 by 4s, and then you cut 2 by 4s out of them.
Okay.
And all special order pieces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then I learned where they came from, and I said, well, and I think I was making $2 an hour in piling lumber. So they tell me what's happening in the bush and how all this stuff is cut. And I thought, it'd be interesting getting a job there. Well, everybody that cut in the bush brought the lumber down to the planer mill. And so I got sort of vicariously got to know these people through the people that had worked here.
Yeah.
And everybody knew everybody anyway. It's a small town, right?
Yeah.
So one guy said, well, Bob is looking for a lumber piler out in the bush. So I called Bob up, and he said, where are you working now? I said, in the planer mill. I just want to get out of here and learn something different. He said, okay, come on, start Monday. We'll drive along the road, pick you up, and come by in the crummy. There's 6 guys usually working out there.
What's a crummy?
Just a 4 by, what do you call it? A pickup with
4 seats.
Seats in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can get 6 guys in it.
Just a truck to take you into the bush.
Just a truck,
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Why the fuck do they call them crummies?
Because usually they were crummy.
Are you serious?
No, I'm serious.
Oh, just because they're a shitty old truck with.
Well, a shitty old truck to start with, or if you had more than 6 guys, then you had a big bread van box thing, and everybody piled in the back, and it leaked dust and.
Oh, just a shitty.
Just
whatever, just to
crummy.
get you there. Yeah.
Just to get you there. Yeah. So. And so I started piling lumber out in the bush.
Yeah.
And then
dead air. God damn it. This
usually
will never do.
Usually I don't talk this much when I'm having a cigar.
I know, right? I know. It's hard. You gotta
it's
take
hard.
a break and puff on it.
It's hard. Mm-hmm.
So you're out in the bush piling lumber.
So you're out in the bush piling lumber. So there's a faller. He's out falling all day long, and sometimes
Faller is another word for logger. Like, it's a Canadian word, right? We call them fallers out here, not loggers or lumberjack. Lumberjack's like an American term, right? It's the same job though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a generic term.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, and out here we in BC we call them loggers.
Okay.
But there's lots of jobs that fall into that category
of logging.
Logging.
Right.
So we are basically a bush mill, but the guy that's doing the falling, he's a faller.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Guy dropping the trees.
Guy dropping the trees. So sometimes he'd fall all morning, and then he'd yard the trees in at lunchtime with either a cat or a skidder.
Right.
And then he'd come into the landing, and they'd buck him up in the length, and usually 8-foot length, unless somebody ordered 12-footers or 15-footers, right?
Right.
So
okay.
the whole idea of the bush mill was to cut railway ties.
Oh, okay.
So, and any side lumber that came off it, like 2x4s or 1x6s, or I can't even remember what else comes off it. Whatever, that gets piled alongside. So you got a 2x4 pile, a 1x6 pile, a pile number 1 ties, pile number 2 ties, which are smaller, and then any ancillary stuff that.
So that's what the main purpose of what you were doing was railroad ties.
Yes.
Okay.
So, so you had a faller out in the bush. You had usually a guy on the landing, and he'd unhook the skidder as it came in. The logs would all be laying there like this,
mm-hmm.
and he'd take a measure and measure each 8-foot piece.
Yeah.
Then he'd bucket.
Bucket up, yeah.
Right. Then he'd get the forklift, put it on a pile behind the carriage.
Mm-hmm.
That's doing the sawing. And then you had a canter, he's called, and right beside him is the guy on the saw running the carriage back and forth. And he'd pull a lever and the and the
Log
lumber
would drop in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then when the log went past the saw and the board fell off, the what the hell do you call that guy again? He ran the edger,
Oh, yeah.
and he had movable blades in there. So if you wanted a 2x4, he'd move a blade, and then you cut 2x4s off the slab that came off,
Right.
and or 1x6 or whatever he had. And then there was me at the end, and all this stuff came to me.
And you're piling it into
And
different
I'm
piles.
piling it in different piles. When the ties came down,
You can't move the tie by yourself, or can you?
yeah, you can. You had to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You had to. If you couldn't move, you tried not to drop it on the floor.
Oh, yeah, because good
Right.
luck getting it up.
Good luck getting it up,
Yeah.
because they're 100 pounds,
Yeah.
if anything. So then usually they came off. They're on the rollers, and then it would drop, and they'd be laying there like this.
Like at an angle off the rollers.
Yeah. So, but on the edges, sometimes there was bark on it, and the companies, the tie companies, don't take the ones with the bark on it because it gets into all their equipment once it dries.
Right.
So we had to take a spud, which had a handle on about this long and a big wide chisel blade,
Yes.
and you had to take the edge off.
Oh, for fuck's
So we're
sakes.
doing, and the lumber's coming, right?
Yeah.
It's like Lucy in the candy store, right?
Yeah, making bonbons or whatever.
Yeah, making-
they
and-
keep coming.
And they keep coming, and you can't say stop, and everybody's fuck off. You can't handle it,
Yeah,
right? So at first, just a minute.
yeah, puff.
You talk, I'll puff.
What the fuck am I going to talk about?
I don't know. So at first, of course, everything is hard.
Yeah,
First,
well, yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're doing.
No.
Doesn't-
Yeah.
Everything's hard until you learn the ropes and how to actually handle this weight.
Yeah.
You can't just muscle it up. You can do one or two, but after that, you have to lay down and have a nap.
Yeah.
No.
Are you sure?
No, maybe after.
Okay.
So
So
you have to
you get
scrape,
yeah.
pick this thing up, and you have to sort of balance it on your hip,
Yeah.
and then carry it over. And the first row, you have to drop them all so they all line up like
Yeah.
little candy bars, right?
Yeah.
The next one, you can sort of drop the end on and slide it over. And drop
Right.
it. And every, 5 tiers, you have to lay a couple of slats across and start that whole procedure over again.
Mm-hmm.
And this sort of balances it so it doesn't shake off.
Right.
So you have to do this on a, just like at my
Just
place.
like at your place.
Yeah,
Ash
we're
everywhere.
not
See,
doing that.
at least I'm consistent.
Yeah, that's good. So
And how high are you making
I think
these
there were
piles?
6 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fucking
Yeah.
work.
So, but they were a foot and a half down, so you didn't have to go over your head with this.
Mm-hmm.
So this went on all day, and the big diesel motor that ran everything
Oh,
was right beside.
yeah. Just the noisy,
Just the
fucking
noisy,
no ear protection.
no ear protection.
Any protection at all?
Um,
Gloves, maybe?
gloves, yeah, gloves. And we wore a leather apron,
Oh, okay.
so you could slide the stuff off your
right,
hip.
without
Right.
ripping the shit out of your clothing.
Yeah.
Woo, that's a lot of shit. Whoa,
Yeah.
high tech, eh? Safety was a priority out there in the bush.
Yeah, just don't get in between the machines and the.
Yeah.
That's all you need to learn. So. Yeah, so that was I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, hard work.
That was hard work, but after a while, you got used to it.
Yeah, and you know how to move the shit around,
And
so you're not killing yourself.
So
doing
you're not
it.
killing yourself, and pretty soon you're sort of thinking, oh, well, if I pick it up by one hand.
Yeah.
Well, not quite, but. And so this went on winter and summer. So the only time we went home was when it got to 25 below. If it got to 25 below, we were out of there.
Jesus Christ.
And that was
Probably hovered at 20 below a lot of days.
It hovered at 20 below a lot of days, and
And you're outside working in the fucking bush?
you're outside working, and it's dark out, and it's
Oh, yeah, because we're up north, so it got dark early.
and it was
And you're in the trees, and it's gloomy.
it's
and-
gloomy and it's
yeah.
cold and
Yeah, I mean, in the middle of the day in the wintertime up here,
yeah.
you have to turn the lights on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
So, but hey, if you don't like the kitchen or the heat in the kitchen, get out.
Yeah, get out. Yeah,
Right?
simple as that. Really.
Nothing holding me there.
No.
Nothing holding any of these guys there.
No.
It was a job you did.
Yeah.
What's worse, standing there piling lumber, and it's not like you're freezing because you're working.
Yeah.
And as soon as you stop working, it got cold.
Yeah.
So I'd rather pile lumber than stood on at the edger, because you're just standing there and you're just pushing boards through. And that saw is going right beside you, not 2 feet away, and it's making a wind.
Oh, yeah, right.
And it's blowing.
Oh, fuck.
Right. So I think I had the best job there for a while piling lumber, because I'm
It was
busy.
hard, but you were warm.
Busy.
Yeah.
Right. So, and the guy doing the sawing, all he had was a big stick here. Pull it this way, the carriage went this way. Push it that way, the carriage went through the saw. So that's his effort all day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cold. Fuck
and
me.
the wind from the it was a big 6 foot round circular blade.
Oh, can you imagine? It's like a fan blowing on you at minus 20.
Yeah.
You guys have a shack up there or something you get warm in? Where do you eat your lunch?
Sometimes if it was half decently nice and the wind wasn't blowing, we'd make a big fire. And other times we'd sit in the crummy.
Right.
Which nobody thought ever thought to fire up at 5:02 lunchtime and get it warm.
Right.
We'd all get in there.
Yeah.
Might as well be sitting outside. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's just the fucking job, I guess.
That's just
right?
the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't complain. Just do it.
No, just do it or go find something else.
Yeah.
Simple as that, really.
Simple as that.
Yeah. How long did you do that for?
Oh God. Off and on. Probably a year.
Yeah.
Then one day, Bob, the owner, comes. We're having lunch. Any of you guys know a truck driver? Our truck driver just quit. And he had a truck. It's basically a dump truck with a flatbed on it.
Okay.
Not a dumper, right?
Not a dumper. Just
to put the lumber piles on.
Right. Forklift them on and off.
Forklift them on and off, and then he takes them down to the mill. And everybody said, no. And I said, why, are you looking for a truck driver? I said, yeah. Oh. I said, I can drive truck.
Could you?
I can drive pickup. So I said, okay, you can drive the truck home tonight. I'll come with you with a load of lumber on it. So he fucks off. And, I forget his name now, but Bob the Faller comes in, or he's sitting there having lunch. And he's been working there for a long, long time. And I come sidle up right beside him, right shoulder to shoulder. He's looking at me, and I look at him. I said, how hard is it to drive that fucking truck? What do you have to do? He looked at me, why? I said, I told Bob I can drive a truck. And he goes, fucking, he rolls his eyes. He looks at me, he starts to laugh. And I said, how else are you going to learn? He said, well, you got a point there. I said, well, big thing is air brakes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know fuck all about air brakes, right? I know when you push the pedal, it goes, well, it could have been farting out of the back end.
You're
Who
gonna
knows?
Be fucked.
Who knows, right?
Yeah, just start pumping those brakes on the way down the hill. You're going to be absolutely screwed.
And the gearbox wasn't that hard. It wasn't a big, like a 2-sticker or anything like that.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I get in the truck and with Bob, the owner. So, okay. And I'm looking around, and I can see the button that you push when you lock the air brakes to lock the truck. Pull that open. The faller, he told me about that. He said, that big red button on the dash, pull that when you want to go. And when you stop, push it in, because that locks everything. So I said, oh, fuck, okay. So I get in there. At least I could knew how to use my mirrors driving pickups.
Yeah.
Right, so we start going down the hill. And I'm going, shh.
Yeah.
And the owner says, don't use your air brakes that much, because you see on the dial here? Oh, yeah, there's a dial there.
That's your pressure.
That's my pressure.
Yeah.
And then there's a little red mark, and I figured out, well, don't let it go past the red mark.
Yeah, because then you got no brakes.
Then you got no brakes. So.
Yeah. So you're supposed to ride the brakes on the way down the hill.
Yeah, or gear it too.
Or right.
Gear down. Right?
Gear down, yeah.
Gear down. So after I got that figured out, and then it was just a matter of keeping it on the road.
Yeah.
And I get it to the mill, and I park it, and then he said, "Okay, pick it up in the morning and bring it out in the bush." I had a job driving truck.
There you go.
Got off piling lumber. So, and that's I figured out. Yeah,
you didn't put it in the ditch.
Didn't put it in the ditch.
Fuck, nice.
Got a little better at it, and sometimes, like at time it, I could make a run during the day, and then I'd come up the hill, and that's when I was just starting to go out with Karen.
Okay.
And she'd be walking home from school to her place for lunch.
Right.
And I'd come by and go,
yeah, Mr. Big Man in the big truck.
Big truck. Oh. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, come on, let's go. Fuck. We don't have all day here, or we could. I got nowhere to go.
And,
this tape will run for like 6 hours.
Oh, Jesus. So there, I did that for a while. And then the big thing I want to do is run a cat.
Oh, yeah.
A D6 or D8 or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And so we had a D6 on site, and it parked right beside the mill, and it ran the cable out of the back drum, and you just laid it out. So all the slabs, the guy on the
canter,
no, on the saw,
mm-hmm.
he would throw all the slabs out. So
Okay.
they'd lay across the cable.
Across the cable, perpendicular to the cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
So then at night you could run the cable over, hook it back up, suck it up, and pull all those slabs out of there.
And what were the slabs? Just like shit wood?
Yeah,
you
shit
send it to, where would you do with that?
Just
Burn
dump
it or?
burn it or dump it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just move it away from the mill. Because during the day it would pile up like a 10-foot pile.
Right, and these are just like the edges of the
The edges
logs,
as you're trying
the
to
bark and
the bark,
yeah,
and the little skinny
little bit
piece.
of it wood, yeah.
So, whose job I think it was the guy on the landing. That was his job to move that. And one day I said, "Can I do that?" He said, "Yeah, sure, you can do that." So I put it on, and it showed me how to start the thing and all that. Proudest moment in my life was running that cat.
Yeah.
20 feet.
Yeah.
So, and then you'd unhook it, suck the cable back up, turn around,
Get
and
it
then,
ready for the next
and
day.
push it. Well, push the slabs over.
Oh, okay.
And then move the cat back, run the cable out.
Right.
So one day, I thought, oh boy, I'm looking at the slab pile. It's getting bigger and bigger. Oh boy, I'm going to run the cat again today. And I said, I flagged down the guy on the landing. Said, I'll move the slabs. He goes, okay, yeah, move the slabs. So I ran the cable around, hooked it up, sucked it up, started to go, and I heard all this yelling going on. I looked around, and I'm pulling half the mill with me.
Oh, jeez.
It came around because the mill is built on big timbers. It came around one of the timbers on the bottom.
Oh, Jesus.
And I just hooked it up.
You didn't know.
And sucked that whole end of the mill over. And the fucking boss, he just went bananas. I said, well, what? So we're both yelling at each other. And I said, well, it's just an honest mistake, and I don't know who ran that fucking cable around there anyway, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, Jesus Christ, and he started yelling at me. And I said, well, stick the fucking job up your ass. Well, no. He didn't want to get rid of me. Right?
Yeah, no,
he
just giving me shit. Yeah.
He just wanted to give me shit. But then I learned the whole way of keeping that job there was if he yelled at you, if you didn't yell back,
You're fucked.
you're fucked.
Ah.
You had to
stand your ground.
You had to stand your ground.
Yeah.
And once you stood your ground and he realized that's the way it was going to be,
Yeah.
he was nice as pie.
Oh, really?
Yep.
He's just testing you.
He was just testing me.
Yeah.
So he said, no. It's okay. It was just a mistake. So it took us 2 hours to get that whole thing lined up.
Oh, fuck. No kidding.
Lined up again. So, and stuff like that was going on all the time. It didn't matter who you were, whether it was the guy piling lumber or the guy doing the sawing. Somebody always fucked up. Not big, but always something going on.
Yeah. No, I remember a story just like that when we were building the house here. I don't know if you were here that day or not, because you were here a lot when we were building out. But they were laying the slab. You might not have been working here because they were doing the slab, my basement slab, right?
Yeah.
And
no,
and the foreman, the owner of the company was, fuck, he's a real prick, but boy, that guy can place concrete like no one's business, right? Mm-hmm. So he's fucking, some guy's not doing his job right. He's fucking yelling at him, you fucking cocksucker, you're gonna do it like this and break this concrete and pull the fucking board. And the guy goes, fuck you, I'm out of here. Well, now, and then he looks up and he's like, the fucking guy's gone. He's like, oh, for fuck's sakes. You know, it's like,
that's right.
I'm just yelling at you, you dumb prick. You don't have to leave. You know, it's like, and then he was gone. I mean, maybe they made up later. I don't know. But he fucked off. And then now they're one guy short laying like, 2,000 square feet of concrete. It's like, what? Dude, just shut up. Do your job. And let the guy fucking yell at you. It's placing concrete stressful. Very stressful. Guys are going to get a little bit on edge, The guy walks off the job. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go.
Well, one guy, Ray,
whatever.
Guy working on the landing, he bucked everything up and throws it on the pile behind where the carriage is. And the canter, he has to turn around and pull that log down. Are we out of time?
No, we're good. I'm just checking my equipment because I got no one here.
Oh. What am I?
No, I'm just making sure everything's recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're recording. Yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
I was talking.
I know. I'm sorry, man.
Jeez. So, the guy that's canting, he pulls the logs down and rolls them on the carriage.
Yeah.
So the guy that's bucking the logs, he's got a two-bitted axe and he's up on top of the pile, and he's knocking the knots off that are sticking up.
Sure.
So it doesn't. So he's swinging. I just turned around like this, and he went like this, and the axe slipped out of his hand. And the boss, standing beside, holding the stick, and it's all made of like 6x6s. The whole mill's made of big. He's standing there, and that axe goes
right between you guys,
right in front of the guy's face, and sticks in the log.
Oh,
in the beam. And I'm looking like this, and the guy standing on top of the pile is going, eyes like a fucking owl. and the boss, he just turns around, you cocksucker, grabs a big stick, and they chase each other around like a couple of squirrels on the fucking and we're just hooting.
Oh fuck!
Right, we're just hooting.
That's a close call, boy.
Oh, that was
fucking
close.
killed him.
That would have killed him.
Yeah.
And could have hit the saw blade. Could have done a million things.
Yeah.
Right? So, and we're just hooting, and it's just one of those.
Yeah, no one got hurt, so
nobody got hurt, so
it didn't matter.
I put on a show, and
right.
Oh me. God. Then one day, just a couple of little things that stick in your mind. Yeah. It's been 50 years, right?
Yeah.
So it was the boss's birthday. So what's his wife giving him a shovel, a gold painted shovel. It was more like a joke.
Yeah.
So he comes to work in the morning. He pulls his shovel out of the back. Look, I got a birthday present for my wife, and we all go, fuck, right. A bottle of scotch would have been
better. Yeah.
So we leaned it up against a lumber pile, and I was out there. What was I doing over there? Oh, I was getting the forklift to move a sling of lumber. And I backed up, and I heard this boink, and I got out and looked. There's this fucking shovel. And everybody must have heard it, because they all looked at me and they all just killing themselves laughing. And the boss, he didn't hear it for some reason. So I got, oh my fucking oath, I broke his birthday present. So I broke the handle right off it, right? Yeah. So I stick the handle back on and just lean it up really carefully on the. So everything was fine for a while, and then for some reason he wanted to move the shovel. He picked it up and boink, the shovel falls
off. Yeah.
And he goes, oh. And first he thinks he broke it. And he goes, who broke my shovel? And I pointed over to Ray, and Ray pointed over to him, and he pointed over to him. Fuck you guys. It's my birthday present. Oh, God. Yeah.
And this is all happening in Invermere. Mm-hmm. The place where you met Karen, who's your wife. And you were out there for a while there.
A couple of years.
Yeah.
So, just an aside, at the where they dropped at the planer mill where all the ties came in. One day, I'm just, I don't know, a couple of months after I've been there, we're having our lunch at the mill. I look over on the siding, and there's like a gondola car, a small, not the box car, but the next one down, without the roof.
Okay.
And they were only about, I guess, that high.
Yeah. 5 feet high or so.
And there's a guy pulling the ties off and loading the car, and that's how you loaded the. You bring a sling of ties over, you get a pickaroon, pull these things off there, and stack them in. I said, "Who's that?" He said, "Oh, that's old Bill over there. He's the tie inspector for Invermere."
Oh.
And he inspected every tie that went in there. If there's too much bark on the edges,
Yeah.
reject.
Reject. Yeah.
Right. So, and if there's any cracks in it, and I think they all went to someplace in Calgary where they all got tarred and stuff like that. So, so sometimes old Bill would come into the lunchroom. One day he came in and I sort of met him for the first time. And after that, everybody got to know everybody else. So pretty soon, come in the lunchroom. "Hey, Bill, how you doing, you old cunt?" And oops, supposed to say that?
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Be yourself.
well, it's just a bunch of guys, right?
Bunch of guys.
"Hey, Peckerhead, how you doing?" And
Yeah.
so everybody.
I would never talk like that in the locker room.
Yeah, I know.
Just grab him by the pussy, Werner.
Yeah. Okay. We so after this went on, I don't know how long.
Yeah.
A couple of 5 months. And now in the meantime, I've met Karen, and one day she said, "Come on over to the house for lunch," like on a weekend. So I go over there, and we're sitting on the back porch before lunch. We're just talking. Bill walks around the corner. The guy that was loading ties.
Oh.
And Karen goes, "Oh, hi, Dad." I said,
Oh, fuck.
"Hi, Dad."
You were calling him a cunt?
I said, "Oh, hi, Mr. Lockhart." I said, "Cut that bullshit.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Just call me when you call me at work." I said, "No, I can't. Not, in front
Not
of your,
anymore now.
Not in front of your daughter." And we had a big laugh over that
Oh,
one. So.
fuck. That's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
I can imagine calling my phone, "Hey, you cocksucker." Yeah. What the fuck are you doing this weekend?
So after that, I toned it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Too late, fucker. Too late. He knew you.
Yeah.
Well, that's one way to get introduced to the family, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So where do we go after that? So then I worked the bush, and
You're working out the bush, you're learning the cat, you're learning the truck, you're doing some stuff on the mill, but you must start falling at some point.
no.
Yeah.
Well, then Karen got a job in the summertime at Treasure Chest Playland. She ran a little ice cream place, just a summer job, right?
Always with the kids, eh?
Always with the kids.
Yeah.
Well, this was
Yeah.
yeah.
Just everybody.
So if I had a minute, or when she was working, sometimes I'd go over and get a free milkshake. And the fellow that owned that, he also owned a Christmas tree farm.
Okay.
And they were looking for people one year to cut Christmas trees just on the side. So on the weekend, I just did it for a couple of weekends.
Yeah.
But you got to use a saw.
Right.
And even though it was just a tiny saw about this big,
Yeah.
it introduced me to a chainsaw
Yeah.
and bzz, 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 and cutting all that. So that's how I learned how to use a saw. But I don't think I did any falling out there at all when I was working.
Oh, okay.
So, and then
You must have left there and gone to the mine then?
and then the Invermere was building an airport.
Okay.
And so we were having a beer one night in the hotel, and one of the guys said, "Oh, they're looking for some equipment operators to build the airport." And we knew that the people that owned Fairmont, they sort of had the contract for the equipment. They had, I think, three scrapers, and 2 cats. And so I just called
And they're
them.
grading their land, basically.
Yeah.
Is that,
Well, what happened, I think there was about 6 feet of soft sand, dirt on top of the gravel layer.
okay.
So all that dirt had to be moved.
Yeah.
Then we dug a big pit called a borrow pit, and you took all the gravel out of there, and that's what gravelled the runway to start with,
Right.
and then they paved it.
Yeah.
So so I called the guy up one night and said, what kind of operators are you looking for? And he said, "We need scraper operators, and we need guys who can run a cat." And I said, "Oh, I think I can run a scraper." And he said, "No, you can't." I knew him, right? He said, "No, you can't." I said, "Why not?" "Because you haven't been on one, have you?" I said, "No, I haven't." So I said, come on, give me a break. He said, okay, come on, show up Monday morning. And it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
So you just get on the thing and you're going along. There's a blade right at the bottom of the bucket and it opens up. And you scrape this and all the soil boils in. You close it up. You drive it over here. And then you pull another lever and like a garbage truck, the back of the...
Yeah, like a chute opens up, basically.
Would push the dirt out the back.
Oh, okay, push it out.
And then that's how you got rid of it all. So pretty soon it turns out 5 of us, we're all buddies, 2 guys on the cat and 3 guys on the scrapers. And we worked there for just about all summer doing all that.
Just moving material.
Just moving material. And it was kind of fun. And so Karen says, don't tell him the story about putting the van down in the borrow pit.
Don't tell him the story?
No.
You guys talked about this?
Well, Karen said, what are you going to say? I said, I don't know. I'm just whatever you asked me about. Well, don't say anything stupid. I said, well, that's going to be pretty hard. So
you put a van in the bottom of the borrow pit?
So one of the guys had an old van. And we were having lunch one day together. And I'm going to put the van in the bottom of the pit tomorrow and we're going to cover it up. I said, are we? I said, yeah.
Why? Just to get rid of it?
Get rid of it and I get the insurance.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's been 50 years, folks.
It does, yeah, we're way past the statute of
Mm-hmm.
limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
So Bob, the next morning, we came half an hour early. Bob drives it down the bottom of the pit, parks it right against the wall. The cat, big D8 cat, turns it sideways. So the van's like this, parked like that.
Yeah.
And he takes the cat and goes...
Over it?
Just plows it into the side of the bank. So it's about this wide.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Crushes it.
It just crushes it like a beer can. Right?
Yeah.
And then we just take the cat.
Push a little dirt over it?
Put a little dirt over it.
Gone.
And then all that dirt that we pulled off to start with,
yeah.
It was 40 feet high. And we used to drive up on top and dump and come back.
Yeah.
So all that dirt had to go in the borrow pit. So if somebody wants to dig that thing up,
it's there.
It's there.
And you got the insurance for it?
And he got the insurance for it.
That, my friend, is fraud. That's insurance fraud.
That's insurance fraud. That's true. But I think he got $200 for it.
Yeah.
It's just a rat bag van, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So someone will be doing an archaeological dig and go, what the fuck happened here? This van, first of all, it's crushed and it's under 60 feet of dirt.
Look at the Vikings were here.
Yeah, exactly.
So then I got the run. Then we had 2 fires out there over this space of a couple of months. And
just lightning strikes?
Lightning strikes. And the people that own the equipment, they rented the cats to the forestry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And none of the guys wanted to run the cat up there. I said, oh, fuck, I'll run the cat. So I ran the cat up there for, I don't know, a month or so.
During the fires?
Yeah, pushing fire breaks. And
right.
Yeah, so that was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in the thick of the fire, but...
No. You're always out. You're pushing, like the fire be way over there, and you're pushing a fire break here.
Mm-hmm.
So you weren't anywhere close to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That sounds like a good experience running that and running those machines and getting to work on an airport and stuff. Like, I mean, how often do they build airports, right? Like, so
exactly.
So there's only a few guys that have ever done any work on an airport,
Exactly.
Like, so that's cool.
That was fun.
Yeah. And that, we're just talking, like, we're still in the 60s here, 60s or early 70s.
We're late 60s, yeah, 69.
60s, yeah.
And the next fire they had, so I was looking at the Calgary paper one day, and it said Jeep for sale, like a Willys Jeep.
Oh, sweet.
45 Willys Jeep.
Oh, beauty.
So
fuck, those things are expensive nowadays.
I wish I
you
still had it.
Yeah.
So I got a buddy of mine to run Karen and I to Calgary, and I bought the thing. And we're going down the road, driving home again. I got the pedal right to the floor, and we're doing 40 miles an hour. And I'm thinking, what the fuck's the matter with this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Not realizing, it's only a little 4-cylinder, and this is about as fast as it was meant to go.
Oh.
It's not a Ferrari.
Right. Which is geared really low.
It'll go anywhere, but it'll do it at a slow speed.
Right.
So anyway, we get it home without blowing the engine up. Lo and behold, there's a fire comes up. And I knew one of the guys that worked at the forestry. And I said, "Yeah, have any use for a Jeep?" He said, "Yeah, we do actually. You can run over here and say this is going on or this is going on or hey, I'm trying to talk."
Keep going.
Jesus,
I need stuff for the promotion.
That's very rude.
Keep going.
I thought you were going to call your mother or something.
No, I'm taking a picture of you.
Oh,
I need to promote this thing, or no one's going to see it.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going.
Nobody's going to see it?
If I don't promote it a little bit.
I'm wasting my fucking time here. So...
Your great grandchildren can watch this, Werner.
Yeah.
Hear all about you.
Wait till Quinty sees it, yeah. So I get a job running my Jeep all over.
Okay.
Delivering stuff, delivering water, delivering lunches. That was a great job. And we're just roaring down the fire breaks they cut and on all the logging roads. And
oh, beauty.
Here's your lunch. You guys eat this. And off I go.
Oh, that'd be a hoot.
That was a hoot.
Yeah.
That was better than running a hose or shovel or...
Yeah.
Yeah, so
cool.
Where are we now?
Well, we're fighting fires and we're done on the mill in the bush.
Okay. There's probably lots there, but I can't.
Yeah, whatever.
So then I took a welding course in Kelowna for a year in 70 or 70.
So you left Invermere, you moved to Kelowna.
Karen was going to school in Victoria,
Okay.
at U of Vic,
Yeah.
for a teaching degree. And I went to Kelowna. Ended up renting a house with Gino.
Oh.
And for a year, got my welding tickets. And then Chuck was bored, I think, after that sometime. So we moved back to Invermere for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up working on the mills in the bush, but this time just welding stuff.
Right.
And if the guy wanted an extension put on the end of the mill or something, I do the welding for it. And
yeah, so you had like a little bit of equipment of your own, or were you working for like another outfit?
they always had equipment. They always
had the. You just go there, show up, and they had
Show
the
up.
gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else happened there? And while I was taking the welding course, one of the guys was a PADI instructor, a scuba diving instructor.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, "Anybody here want to get their scuba ticket?" And I thought, yeah, might as well get a scuba ticket.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? And one of the other fellows that was taking the course, he lived in Kelowna, and his parents had a house with a pool,
Mm-hmm.
and we could do all our
training in the pool.
training in the pool.
Yeah.
And our open water dive, we just went off to, I can't even remember what Kelowna looks like now, the waterfront, and we just dove down and
Just near the city.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a big park there called
Yeah,
City Park, I think.
I guess so.
Yeah. Yeah, right where like downtown,
it
Water
was right-
Street
it
or
was right
whatever.
down, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so we got my scuba ticket while I was there, welding ticket. Then we moved back to the coast
Now you're in Victoria now?
in Victoria now. Karen's,
Did you get a job offer out here? What brought you out here?
Karen had 1 year to do, still had 1 year to do in school.
Oh, okay.
So we came here with the kid. Karen went to school. Now I had my ticket. So I got a job with a water well outfit,
Or what?
drilling water wells.
Water wells.
Water wells.
Wells, okay.
And a lot of the water wells, they drop a casing in. Like a...
What is a water well?
Drilling for water.
Oh, on dry. Okay, well, what the fuck?
What
Well,
the
I know.
fuck? What's a water well?
I thought you were still talking about like something to do with scuba diving or something.
No, I said we moved back here.
Well, yeah,
Okay,
we're
pay
surrounded by
attention.
fucking water.
Salt water.
Okay.
So people want wells on their property.
Right.
So this guy, like the big water well drilling trucks you see.
Okay.
So, and they needed somebody to weld the casing pipe as it went down.
Sure. Yes,
So-
because they drill it, then they put a casing down.
And then they put a 6-inch pipe.
Right.
And not necessarily all the way down, maybe 1 or 2 lengths or 3 lengths, whatever came
just
to.
whatever.
Yeah.
Oftentimes at the surface, you've got fractures, and the water at the surface
Yeah.
is dirty or high in
Yeah.
minerals or whatever, and they want to seal that off, right?
Mhm.
To get to the fresher, cleaner water down below. See, I'm not a total idiot. I know a couple things.
Sometimes you surprise me.
And that's why they push this. They push this pipe
Yeah,
down,
push
right?
the pipe
okay.
down. So that was sort of interesting because we went just about on all the islands. Galiano,
right, all the
Texada,
Gulf Islands.
All the Gulf Islands.
Yeah, yeah.
The guy running the big rig, he would drive that, and I would drive the camper where we stayed in.
Okay.
And
Is it a multi-day job to put a well in?
sometimes it could be.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you go down 20 feet, you hit enough, and sometimes you have to go 200 feet.
Yeah, right.
It was one guy we drilled, and it was right beside his driveway, and finally hit water, and it was salt water.
Oh, fuck.
So then we had to run it, and then I think we left a standing pipe about 6 feet high and capped it.
Just to hold the water in.
Just, yeah, because it was sort of artesian.
Oh, Jesus.
So, and in the meantime, you're paying for all this. Doesn't matter if
Doesn't matter if you
it's
hit, yeah.
if it's a dry hole or salt water.
Did you ever get fresh water on his property?
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
We had to move over. But we had a dowser guy.
Oh, are you serious?
Serious?
Does that shit work?
You know,
That's the guy with the two rods,
The
right?
two rods,
Walking around.
yeah.
I've seen a guy do that before on the property where I work, looking for the irrigation.
Mm-hmm.
And he spun them in his hands, these two rods, and he walked around, and all of a sudden the rod went to the right.
Yep.
And he goes, and he turned, and he did some other thing, spun right here. And he dug, and sure as shit, that's where the irrigation pipe was. Now, was that just shithouse luck, or?
all the wells that we drilled, we get to the place, and there'd be a X marks a spot.
Mm-hmm.
And they had an in-house dowser guy that lived here, an old guy. So go to Galiano on 3rd Street on the left, number 122, and douse for a well. He'd go over there with the wires, and when they crossed.
Yeah. I guess it crossed when he got something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
And I think when they go this way, they find fractures or something.
Whatever. Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't know how it works,
But it worked every time. Every time the guy made an X on the spot, we drilled, we had water.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Do you think if you had drilled 5 feet over, you would have had water, or
We might have had, but we never deviated from our.
from where he said?
No.
Huh.
No. So.
Okay. I wonder what the facts are on that.
Look it up tonight.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
If we look it up now, it'll be dead air time.
Yeah, we're not looking it up now. I need
So-
a producer. You see, they can look it up and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
proven that's bullshit."
So, where's the?
So you're welding these.
So and then we're living in a camper, and I'm working with Bob, who's a fairly hefty fellow.
fucking Bobs
a
in
lot
your
of
life.
Bobs in my life. He's a fairly hefty fellow, and he must have gone 250, and he
That's not bad. Hardly any more than I weigh.
hardly any more than you. You sort of remind me of Bob a little bit.
Fuck you.
And so when we first got staying in that camper, sometimes we stay in a motel, but we stayed in the camper. First or second time, Bob snores.
Oh, for fuck's sakes!
So
Forget it.
Bob's up on the top bunk, and I'm laying on the bottom part of the camper seats, and Bob's up there going, and I'm really loud, just really loud. And so what do? You can't. It's not like you're laying beside your wife and going, "Oh, honey,
You can just roll over for a minute.
yeah, I don't want to go anywhere near the guy, right?" So I'm trying to make a lot of noise, so he sort of
Yeah, and then you fall asleep in the meantime, and then
So then that didn't really work. So the next day, I'm thinking, fuck, I got to get some sleep tonight. I'm just
just
knackered. Right?
fucked. Yeah.
So the next day, like the sunflower stem,
Mm-hmm.
got myself a little switch and sharpened it. So now Bob's sleeping up there, starting to snore, and I'm going, and I poke him in the guts with this thing, and he'd roll over and be quiet for a while, and we both have a little nap, and then pretty soon he'd start again. I go, So this goes on most of the night. So I get up in the morning, Bob comes out and he's got his shirt off and said, "We're going to town." "Oh, how come we're going to town?" He said, "We're getting this camper fumigated." It's full of fucking bed bugs. Look at this.
He's all fucking.
He's all poked to bits.
You didn't say nothing?
Well, I said, and he said, did you get any bites? I said, yeah, I think I got 1 or 2 down here. You know, you're really itchy little buggers, aren't they? He said, yeah, look at that. Look at this. Look at this. I'm all chewed up here. So we ended up going to town to
getting the fucker fumigated.
Yeah. So I couldn't do it anymore. So
yeah.
Yeah.
When you can't sleep, it's like it's goddamn torture.
It's torture. It's a long night.
It's a long night.
I'd rather been drilling holes.
Yeah. Okay. So, drilling holes. Welding.
Okay. So now it's end of the year for Karen's school. She's finished.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to Invermere. She's going to get a job there. Saanich calls her up and said, do you want a job next year?
Like the municipality? Oh, okay.
And Karen goes, just a second. And she said, do you want to stay here? I got a job. So if you got a job, let's stay here. So she was the only teacher hired that year in Saanich.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And 2 days later, I got a job at Euros when they were working.
What's Euros?
Euros when the shipbuilding.
Shipbuilding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
I knew that.
Yeah, I knew you that.
You never, some people might not know, right? So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What do you know about dowsing?
Nothing. Two fucking rods, 2 coat hangers.
2 coat hangers.
Yeah. Okay, so you get a job at Yarrows.
So, and they're building, what were they building? They were building the icebreaker Terry Fox.
Oh.
Coast Guard.
Oh, yeah.
Icebreaker. So I got working on that for, I don't know how long. Months and months and months.
Welding the hull?
Oh, welding everything.
Yeah.
Fuck, they had some of the plate in there was that thick. Just
5 inches thick?
4 inches thick.
4-inch thick plate?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And the front.
Oh, yeah, because it's an icebreaker.
It was an icebreaker.
Right.
And the front was, the bow.
Yeah, the front.
Was all
fucking landlubber.
Little cubicles with big plate like this.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of like a crumple zone.
Oh, yeah.
And I can remember working in those. It's like sitting in think about sitting in your fridge. Little entrance hole you could just barely get into. And this thing is about this, just a little wider than you are. And you got a little stool to sit on. You got leather all over you. And you have to do the seams up on the...
Above you?
Oh, I'm claustrophobic, you know. And that,
oh, really? Oh, that must have drove you fucking
that
batty.
drove me crazy. And then you're working in there, and the guy beside you is working in there, and the guy beside, and he's working in there, and you're burning big rods, so the heat in there is just horrific. It's you come out like a fried chicken after a while.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know those double hulled boats, and guys are working in between the 2 hulls, and or guys that are welding like masts and shit, getting up inside those masts. Oh fuck! I couldn't imagine welding it. Then you gotta. What do you have to do after? You got to get the slag off, right?
That slag just comes off.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Do you have to chip it or hammer it or anything?
Usually you don't. You could scrape it, but you could chip it a little bit.
Yeah, and then the inspector has to go in and inspect it?
Every inch of that boat, every inch of every boat has to be inspected.
Yeah. What a fucking...
Same like on the ferries, it's...
yeah.
And then, what the hell we do after that? Oh, no, this was later on. So, yeah, so it was fun working on it, though.
Yeah.
Right? But now you're working with a bunch of guys and you get to know each other. You're having lunch all the time.
Yeah.
And the practical jokes start.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, and it was a big ordeal to squeeze in a little hole, get everything. You're sitting on your little chair. You're ready to go, drop your helmet. But there's no power coming through.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Go up, and then you have to crawl out of there. Crawl all the way to the back. I mean, there's the cables.
There must have been hundreds of
300,
cables.
and they're all entwined.
Oh, yeah.
But you know where your machine is. You look at your machine, and one of those assholes will turn the power down.
Yeah.
Fuck. Jesus Christ. It was funny when you did it the other guy, right? When they did it to me.
Not so funny.
It's not so funny.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know how they, it shocks me. It blows my mind that anything ever gets built. Like these big, huge ships. any big project, it's just incredible to me that all those pieces, all those moving pieces have to be put together. All these welds, all this plate, all these inspectors, all these guys, the equipment, the cabling, it's just unbelievable actually when you think about it. It's surprising that these things ever get done.
And it's all a master plan. You build this it's like building a house.
Yeah, it's like, I know, one thing at a time.
One thing at a time, and it all comes together.
I know, it's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It. What was I going to say there? Oh, one day we're working in the hold, and like all the inside of the beams, they all have to be welded, and all these things have to be checked. The inspector come around with a little mirror, and he'll look every little thing. If the weld was this much short, you have to
fix it.
You have to pick it up and So it's like you said, it just boggles your mind. All the steel has to be cut and perfectly.
Yeah. So when you're buttoning these two pieces of steel together, they can't be cut like just a straight cut. Do they groove it, angle it, or something so that they can butt these, and then you fill like a groove, or how does that work?
Both sides.
Both sides.
Yeah. So, something you said earlier about how everything gets done. So, skipping forward a little bit, I broke in falling in '77, and because we lived here, and we get laid off sometimes in the summertime for fire season, whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still have my welding ticket.
Yeah.
If there's anything happening in the at Yarrows,
go pick up
I'd go welding for a couple of 3 months.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're working, as a welder, you're welding. If you're burning, like with a cutting torch,
yes,
a welder can do a cutting torch. That's part of the trade.
Right.
But when you're working
as a welder,
you're welding, but you can't go burning.
Right.
Which really, one of the things that really irked me in my working life was working at, we were putting the ferries together. When we raised the ferries, Queen of Saanich, I worked on the Queen of Saanich. We cut the thing in half basically and raised it up 10 feet and put a whole new section in. So now you're working with a fitter. I'm the tacker, I'm the welder. And you're not welding, you're just tacking. So if you're standing there and the fitter's got to go take a dump,
you got to wait.
I got to wait. I can't just go, I'll just weld a seam up. No, you have to wait. Conversely, I'm working with the fitter, tacking. Oh, we need this thing cut here. The torch is right here. I can't just reach over and go, no, we have to call a burner over.
Is that union rules? Yeah. All guys.
And I'm thinking, how fucking stupid is that?
Yeah.
I couldn't wrap, nobody could, whenever
explain that to you.
They couldn't explain it.
So is burning like a burner, is that like almost like a trade?
No.
Those guys could weld.
Well, they're welders.
Yeah. But they did, that was their job, was to burn, and your job was to tack or weld.
So one time the guy comes, you go there in the morning and said, I want you burning today. Go work with Bob the fitter over there and just do the burning. So now I'm standing there. I'm Bob and the welder or the tacker. They're doing it, and I'm standing. You think I could be welding or something?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Inefficient as hell, eh?
Yeah. And then one day the electrician's there. He's working beside us on a little step ladder, putting cables in. And he gets down and he says, I'm going to move over here. So I'm standing there looking around. I'll just move his ladder over here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You think I killed this kid? Don't you ever fucking touch that ladder again. Your job is to you can't be working with the electricians. And I said, I just moved a fucking ladder for you. You can't. You can't be a nice guy.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So.
That's a shit that'll drive people bananas working for these big government projects, and your job is it just seems so inefficient and so expensive. Now you got a guy making journeyman wage, right?
Yeah.
Just sitting there doing fuck all.
Just doing nothing.
Yeah. That makes no sense, does it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Okay, where were we?
We were welding the Terry Fox.
Oh yeah, the Terry Fox. So that was finished. Then what happened after that? God, I might be skipping stuff.
Yeah, fuck, whatever.
So
We can always
now,
go back.
and
Don't matter.
so now we're. I need something to do recreationally, so I joined the karate club in town.
Oh, cool.
So from 74 to 77, 77 I got my black belt, and in 77 I broke in falling.
Ah. Were you just fucking like karate chopping those trees?
I was just karate chopping the trees, and I didn't even have to get a saw. So I did all that hard work, and then as soon as I thought I could relax and help teach, I was in the logging camps.
Oh, you were thinking you were gonna do something like in martial arts as a teacher, or?
Well, I was going to keep on with my training, but part of being a black belt is you have to be able to teach, right?
Right.
You have to get this across to the.
Yeah.
So, and then.
Did you give up martial arts at that point, basically, because you're falling now? I mean,
because I'm in a logging camp.
Yeah. Oh, you're in the camp.
Right. Well, okay, I have to clarify this now. So in 77, Euros laid everybody off. So now I'm looking for a job.
Right.
So then I see this job for chokerman in the Vancouver Sun. I thought, oh, well, shit.
What is that? Like some kind of S&M porno gig or choking guys? What the
choking
fuck is
guys. So you got your log laying in the bush.
Yeah.
And then you get the cable, and it's called a bell on it, and it's a sliding attachment. And the end of your choker, you've got a steel knob on it.
Mm-hmm.
You wrap that around the tree, and you bring the bell over, and they click together.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got a noose.
Okay.
So now when they pull on it, you pull your log out.
It chokes.
It chokes
around the
So they're looking for chokermen. So when I was in the Kootenays, I was running a skidder at times. You go out or setting chokers behind a cat. They dump all the chokers out in the bush, and the real small chokers, like that round. And you just put chokers around all the trees. The cat backs in, and the end of your choker has a loop on it, and you hook the loop on the hook, and he pulls
it all out.
And pulls it all out. So I thought, well, I could do that for a couple of months until the shipyard fires up again.
Yeah.
So I called up and said, you ever set chokers before? Oh, fuck yeah, I set chokers before. And I'm a master choker setter. Said, okay, go to Campbell River. Be there at Monday at 8 o'clock. The plane will fly you into, I can't remember the name of the camp. Yeah, it'll come to me. We'll fly you into camp, and you can set beads.
So you got your wife's here, your kid's here. He's like 1, 2 at this time, and you're fucking off to go to camp.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Well,
those were the days.
We had to eat.
Yeah, that's right.
Had to eat. So I get out to camp, and there's a marshalling yard in the morning, and I get in the truck or the crummy, and we go up the hill, and up the hill, and up the hill, and up the hill, and up the hill, because we're working in the mountains, right? And then I get out, and I'm thinking, holy fuck, what have I got myself into?
Yeah, right. This is the coast.
It's not, we had the big pipes that hauled everything up, the Medill Towers. They went down 1,500 feet.
Jesus.
And I've got new boots on. I just Viberg boots. Got new boots on. It's the middle of July. And there's wood lay in there 6, 7, 8 feet
in diameter.
And
you got to run a choker around these things.
And I'm looking at like stuff in the Kootenays as opposed to like these mic stands.
So the cable you're running in the Kootenays is like half inch?
Half inch.
Yeah.
Not even that.
And here?
And here they're
like 2 inch,
2.5
inch?
2-inch chokers.
Jesus. How do you even move cable like that?
You have to reef on them.
Yeah.
And I'm looking down the hill, and I see all these logs laying across the hill. I'm thinking, holy shit. how did all that stuff get like that? And I'm looking around, and the rigging slinger, who's basically the foreman of our little group, he said, "You're the new chokerman?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "You ever done this before?" I said, "Not this big."
Yeah.
He said, "I can tell the way you're
Looking at this shit. Yeah.
like a deer in the headlights."
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
And he said, "I'm telling you one thing." I said, "When I tell you to do something, you do it. You don't ask why. You just, if I say jump over that log and into the creek,
You
do it. Just don't second guess it. And you listen to what I say,
And you'll live.
and you'll live."
Yeah.
And so we had to crawl down over a bunch of stuff to pick up from what they left just the day before. And by the time I get there, we only went down like 200 feet. I'm hooped
Yeah.
because I don't know how to crawl around in this crap,
Yeah, yeah.
right? There's just a technique to everything. And you think it's a simple, shit, I can just... No, there's a technique to all that.
Yeah.
So anyway, they slide the chokers down on the... Think of a clothesline.
Okay.
Right? So that where your clothesline joins in the middle, they've got about a 10-foot section of steel chain, and from there, 3 chokers are hanging down. And they'll slide the chokers down to where your logs are, and the rigging slinger, he's got a whistle on his belt, and he beeps it, beep, beep, beep. The line slacks, the chokers land or lay
Right.
down,
Yeah. You put them around the butts.
and the slinger goes one here, one here, one here. And the 3 of us, there's 3 chokermen. 1, 2, 3. I think there's 3 of them. We dive in, muscle this choker around, click it into the bell, and as soon as we're ready, he goes beep, 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 and we run out first.
Yeah.
As fast as you can go. No dawdling, because if you're dawdling, you're taking time.
Yeah. Time's money.
You run off to the side, maybe 50 feet, 100 feet, and it looks like he's picking up the whole side hill because these trees are so big. And he picks
Have they been bucked into the lengths at
Yes,
this point?
they're all bucked.
Okay.
They're too big to leave.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Too big to take all
Yeah.
at once. Yeah.
So, and he pulls these things up, and I'm standing over there going, and I'm already getting scratched or at shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's summertime, you just got a t-shirt on,
Oh,
right?
fuck yeah.
And it's fucking hot. Holy Christ. So about 10 o'clock, I said, "Is there any water around?" He said, "Yeah, you can go down and have a drink." And I look down there, well, it's another 800 feet to the bottom.
Yeah, fuck that.
Well, by the time I get up, it's going to be quitting time. So this goes on all day. And now I'm getting blisters because of new boots.
New boots, yeah.
And I'm just fucking dying. Just absolutely dying. And this goes on. So 3 days, I came in the middle of the shift. So 3-4 days later, it's time to go out. So I didn't know any better. I packed all my gear. I thought, might as well take all this stuff home. It wasn't much, just a duffel bag. So I get home, 4 days. I think we were working 10 and 4. 10 days in and 4 days out. Had to get the bus from Campbell River back to Victoria.
Yeah, that takes a day.
That takes a day. Coming up takes a day. So you got 2 days at home.
Yeah.
So I don't care what the kid's been doing. He's a nice guy. I'm not going to yell and scream at the kid for
Yeah.
anything. Or it's nice to be with my wife again. Go back out. Well, in the meantime, of course, she's running the whole household,
Sure.
taking the kid to daycare and going
Yeah,
teaching
working
22 kids.
and,
It's,
God.
that was a grind in itself.
Yeah, no shit.
So get back out to Campbell River, and I'm sitting there at the airport, at the float plane, and I'm looking at my watch, and I'm thinking, Jesus, about the time we left here, there's nobody here. And I said, Phillips Arm. Where's the sked to Phillips Arm? He said, oh, they're not working. They're down for fire season. And I said, well, fuck. Nobody told me. I came all the way up here. I said, now I got to go all the way back home for... So I'm thinking, oh, God. So I called a taxi. The guy said, I'll be there in 10 minutes or so. I no sooner hang up, these 6 guys come in. And they're a falling crew going to a different place. And they're kibitzing in the corner. They're talking to each other. And then the big guy, Bob Alec, he said, where's Bob? Well, I don't know where Bob is. The guys are like it's a crew, regular crew that goes. So, where's Bob? I don't know. Call him up. Guy gets on the phone, calls Bob's place, hangs the phone up. Bob's in jail. He was in the bar the night before and got in a big fight. Cops caught him and threw everybody in jail. So Alec goes, God damn it. He screws up the whole parade.
Yeah.
Right, because you need the 6 guys, 2 guys working together.
Yeah.
And Alec, who's doing the bull bucking, running around. So, who knows where can we get another faller? We got to get one right away. All the guys are going, I don't know anybody. They're either working or... So I said, you guys looking for a faller? All 6 of them stand and look at me. So you ever done any falling? I said, yeah, I've done some falling in the Kootenays. Christmas trees.
Jesus.
So Alex goes, and you can see he's between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's better to take a fucking clown from the circus than it would have taken anybody.
Right.
And he looks at me, he says, is that your stuff and your gear in your bag? Yep. Okay, come on. No sooner says that, door opens. Somebody here call a taxi? We all looked at each other. No, not us. We're going out. We're flying out. Well, fuck, I came all the way here. He goes away, grousing away. Get in the plane, fly out to Thurlow Island, which is about 15 minutes out of Campbell River. Mm-hmm. Just on the inside passage.
Yeah.
And that's how I started falling.
What? Did you get any training on the saw?
No.
Are you serious?
No. Alex says, how much falling have you done? I said, well, I done a little bit in the Kootenays, nothing big though. I said, I'm not in the big trees. He says, well, you're lucky because it's all second growth.
Oh.
So the biggest stuff would have been like Kootenay size.
Yeah.
Right? If we came across a 4-foot fir, it was...
Forget it.
We all took pictures. Well, no, we all took pictures of it because that's a big tree.
Oh,
where we were, right?
Right.
But, I mean, these guys are all production fallers. So Alex says, okay, you can start here. Takes me out to where I'm going to start. And he said, just keep your eyes open. I think he knew what he was getting into.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I had that work ethic. I knew how to put an undercut in. I knew how to put a back cut in.
Okay.
And I worked hard all day. I didn't
fuck around.
Didn't fuck around or dink around or
Yeah.
sit down. Or every time he came by me, I was working. Then he came in that night and he says, He said, you worked hard all day, but he said, you're far from being a production faller. And I said, well, he said, I'm going to have to cut your pay from, we were getting $75 a day, from $75 to $50 a day. And I said, Alec, you show me how to do all this, I'll work for nothing. I'll give me 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I'll pay you, but I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to work the face. I didn't know how to work the pushing trees, cut up too many trees. I mean, they were only small stuff like this, but there are 80, 90 feet tall.
So we're talking like 2 foot at the butt?
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
And I can still remember cutting a couple of trees up and pushing them out, and then going out and bucking them and working away like this, and boom, one falls right behind me that I'd missed.
What do you mean? Tell us about that. How does that work?
Well, I cut up.
So you're falling trees.
So I'm falling trees, so there's one or two that
They get snagged?
They get snagged or they won't go. I can't wedge them over. You don't have a big wedging area on a small tree. So I cut them up to push them out. So I ended up cutting one. It hit it, but it wouldn't push out. I cut another one.
So you've got a tree that's kind of standing still. It won't go over. And you're pushing another tree against it to drop it, to push them all down like dominoes.
So now there's 3 or 4 of them that fall, but I cut up 5. And I didn't notice it.
Oh, Jesus.
So I get out, and how many guys get killed every year with stuff like that?
Too many.
Too many.
Yeah.
1 too many.
Yeah.
5 too many.
Yeah.
So it landed right beside me. I thought, holy fuck. The
Yeah.
light went on.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned. You
Well,
lived. Now you figure it out. Yeah.
Figure that one out, right?
Yeah.
And it sort of progressed like that. I was lucky I didn't get killed from that taxi. Lucky I didn't get hit by that tree.
Yeah.
Right? It just went on and on and on.
Yeah.
And I think I smashed 2 saws. They got pinched, or I read the lean wrong and the tree fell over sideways on me, and the saw gets caught in the cut.
Bends the bar.
Bends the bar, it lands right on top of it. There's nothing left.
Oh, Jesus.
I remember taking a saw down to the road. The butt landed on the saw. And there was just a bunch of pieces, like picking all the stuff off the table and just dumping it on the road.
Oh, for fuck.
And I could see Alec coming by. He gets out. He looks at this thing down there, walks around it twice, kicks at it a little bit. Working on the wrong side of the tree. I said, yeah, lesson 2.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
but the guys all tried to help.
Yeah. So you got a little bit of guidance, a little bit of training,
A little bit of guidance, a little bit of training, a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the whole folding process, as I got more experience, the trees got bigger.
Right.
So it's not all of a sudden I'm falling stuff the size of this table,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And I still got a picture at home. I found this one fir. It was about as big as the table. I thought, holy shit, that's a big tree. And and I'm planning.
Is that the one in your garage? That you're
No.
That's a big stick.
That's way
Yeah.
in the future.
Yeah.
But that was a big tree to me at that time.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to make sure everything was right. The undercut was right. The backcut was right. The lean was right.
Yeah.
So it was just shit. I was luck.
Yeah.
One of the other guys that started with us, he was my roommate for a while. And I didn't, after we left the camp, probably worked for Alex for, 6-8 months. And then the guy that was my roommate for a while, next time I got together with a bunch of guys, do you ever hear of Bob Smith? I said, oh yeah, he was killed about 6 months ago. Big limb hit him. I thought, ooh.
Yeah. It's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're cutting down the tree and dead wood just fall on you.
That's what happened to him.
Yeah.
He had a big limb. He's working on a big spruce, and one of the big spruce limbs, about that big, came down from about 120 feet.
Fucking
So you're
squish
done.
it. Yeah.
You're done.
No hard hat's going to help you with that.
No.
No.
So, but I loved it.
Yeah?
I love doing it. It just, there's nobody bugging you all day. I mean, Alec could come by and say, well, maybe do this better. Or when you're working along the face, it's called, you always keep your face smiling. He said, keep your face smiling. And so you're always working this edge, the round edge.
Yes.
And so you're not working your way into the timber, and you've got things hanging off.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
On either end.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I can always remember Alex saying, use your head. If you don't use your head, you got to use your feet.
Yeah, right.
And then that, you get in this mindset of you don't do anything extra because you're using extra energy, extra time. You plan it all out. So you're not going, I should have fell this one over here first. Then you have to pack all the way over here and fall that one first. And always use your head before you have to use your feet.
Yeah.
And that's what makes a production faller.
Right.
Because there's not a move wasted. There's not a move that I'm doing out there that is out of place. And you get to be like that after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, it's kind of a weird analogy, but even if you're in the kitchen, if you're getting the cereal box down, you get the cereal box down, you bring it over, because I mix my cereals. Go get my other cereal box.
Yeah. It's like a chef in a kitchen.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
know how to move like it's like a ballet through the kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same out there in the bush.
Yeah.
Every
move is accounted for.
Yeah.
So.
That's interesting.
So.
And that's you're in camp now, so now you've kind of figured it out, and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you start working with this outfit, And you worked with him for a year or so? Or?
Off and on. Yeah, I worked for him twice. Went to another, and I never burnt my bridges.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. I mean, if I didn't like the way the guy was frying eggs in the morning in the cook shack, I'd say, fuck you, and I go to another camp. There was all that work around.
Yeah.
So if you didn't like something at one camp, you just call up, and I had my little black book. This outfit and this outfit and this outfit, and they call him, and I could call any one of these guys and say, "You looking for a folder? Oh, hi Werner, how you doing? Yeah, we need somebody. Come on, come right out."
Oh, okay.
So I always had a job.
So you had options.
Always had options.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but like I said, as the years went by, the timber got bigger, the terrain got steeper, the challenges got really challenging.
Yeah.
Trying to work with all this big stuff.
Yeah.
Because you can't make a mistake in the big stuff. Because it's just, the mistake
is unforgiving, right?
Is either unforgiving or it just adds so much work to your day.
Right.
Just so much. If you have to do any kind of wedging, I mean, to pound a wedge in is okay. To pound 4 wedges in and keep pounding and pounding and pounding because you can't cut anymore, and you're trying to get this tree.
It's too much work.
It's
Those guys, I've seen those videos of these guys just slamming, just fucking hitting these wedges as hard as you can. Well, you can't do that all day.
No, you can't do that all day.
No.
You might have to do one all day, or I mean,
one a day.
One a day, but yeah, you try to keep all that to an absolute minimum.
Right.
Yeah, and you have to lay your timber out so you're not crossing the timber. I mean, drop one like this, you drop this one, smashes all that wood to start with. And then you have to go in and buck all that stuff out, and it just you really learn quickly. You either do it or you get hurt, or
they get rid of you.
Or they get rid of you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so that's falling, kind of like the inside of like the coast of British Columbia.
This is the coast
of BC.
Yeah, coast of BC.
Is that where the big lumber is, or is it more on the island, or where's the biggest lumber?
Well, it's on the island and on the inside coast.
Inside, along the inside passage. Yeah.
On the mainland.
Yeah. You left there and then started working on Vancouver Island in what year?
Let me see now. Probably 83.
83, and you spent most of your time logging on the island.
Jordan River. Yeah.
Which is about an hour and a half from here,
25,
from Victoria.
25 years there.
Yeah, 25 years. So that's where you did basically all your following, except for a few years.
Yeah, just bounced around the camps for 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Went up Harrison Lake. We had a camp up there. Where else? Oh, Harrison Lake. Hired on there. And Charge he brought me past Bob. I said, "Here, this is Bob. Hi, how are you doing?" Bob will take you over to where you're falling beside him. He'll take you over there when he's got time here. I got other things to do, so he fucks off. Leaves me with Bob. Bob said, "I'll be right with you." I got this big fir here, about a 5-6 foot fir. We're on a side hill like this. And I've just got the undercut in. I'm going to do the back cut, and then we'll walk you over there. I'll walk you over there where you're going to start. So I got my pack on. I got my gas and oil. Got my saw. I take the saw off my shoulder. I'm sort of resting myself on the saw. And I'm watching him. He's not from here to the fence away. And he's cutting, doing the back cut. And I'm looking at this tree too, and I'm looking around, and he's cutting, and all of a sudden there's a big whoomp.
No.
And my eyes just boing. And I see him over there, and he's cut it off.
What?
He's cut
the hinge off.
He's cut the hinge off.
Oh, Jesus.
And right away I threw my pack off, dropped my saw, and now we're standing there. No, this thing's standing there.
Okay, so before this thing goes any further, most people don't know what the hinge is. So you do the
undercut.
Just explain it quickly.
You do the undercut first.
Which is undercut is what?
Is the direction the tree's going to fall.
So that's your like wedgie thing
your
at the
wedgie thing
front
at the
of
front
the tree. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And then you
Then
start
you do the back cut.
You do your back cut.
Yeah.
But you always leave, all depends how big the tree is. You always leave a hinge.
Couple of inches of uncut wood that holds the tree in place.
So it hinges over onto the undercut.
Yeah, so that piece of wood in the middle there from the undercut, that piece of wood controls the direction of the fall.
That's the way it's going to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's cut through that fucking thing.
So he's cut through it. Now the tree's standing
Just
there.
sitting there,
It's
cut.
just sitting there, cut.
His saw must be stuck in there.
It's stuck in there. That's what the whoomp was.
Right.
It
Come back.
It sat down. It just clunked right down on his bar.
Yeah.
And
he knows he's fucked up.
And he knows he's fucked up. And he looks at me, and I look at him. Now we're looking at the tree. Now we're standing there. You don't want to run before anything happens. You don't just want to run, because if you run this way, the tree could fall that way.
Oh, Jesus.
The tree could fall up the hill into the timber, which is it's the worst, because now it's smashing all the stuff behind you, and all the shrapnel's coming off the trees. So we're standing there. My feet are going like this, sort of, looking around. And there's the slightest puff of wind, and the tree wiggles like this, and it falls with the undercut, luckily.
Oh, for fuck.
It could have gone down the hill, could have gone back the hill, could have gone the other way. So as soon as it starts...
You can't wedge that at that point.
Oh,
there's no fuck. There's too much weight.
And
the cut's gone because it's on there. Yeah.
It's gone. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck. So it finally falls over, and I said, okay, Bob. I put my gear on, got my saw, and he takes me over. He said, you can start over here. Right away. I mean, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? But...
that was a bad one, right?
Well, I learned late, after I got to know the guy and after talking to the guys in camp. Bob's one of these guys. He's a... what's the term they use? If he's in the bar, he's the biggest, baddest faller on the coast. He's a yapper, and he never gets anything done. He sort of does his job, but
yeah.
I just want to get away and just sort of calm down a bit.
Yeah. Well, fuck. He could have fallen right back and swept you off.
It could have done a lot of things.
Because that's what they'll do, right? Say the tree falls backwards or whatever.
Yeah.
Then all those... it's not just the trunk. It's not just the main. It's all the branches that come up. And those branches are big, right? How long are those things? Like 20, 30, 40 feet?
40 feet.
Yeah.
And if it falls over into the standing timber,
yeah,
it's ripping everything down. And I've seen these things go down the hill like an arrow. And it's a great big Jesus fir or spruce.
Yeah, like 5 foot tree going, yeah.
Yeah. It just annihilates anything.
Jesus. And you along with it.
I'm
sure they've swept guys away. Lots of times.
Oh, yeah. I was in one camp, and we were in the dry room changing our clothes one morning, and the guy had a big scar down here. I says, oh, were you, what did I say? Did you zig instead of zagging?
Yeah.
He said, oh, geez. I said, I lost one up the hill one time, and it fell into the standing timber, and I'm running way off to the side, and this thing just starting to shoot down, and this branch snags me, and it pokes him right in the side, and it hooks him.
Oh,
and now he's getting
dragged down the hill
at 100 miles an hour, and it's lucky the branch broke or he rolled off it, and he had to go to the hospital, of course.
Oh, yeah.
It just about pulled. Lucky he didn't pull his intestines, hook in his intestine, pulled everything out.
Yeah.
And they were just...
Whoa.
Oh, I said, lucky. He said, oh, that was a...
that's a bad one.
Yeah. I'm telling you. So I went down and I worked hard all morning, and the sergeant came by at lunch, and he's looking around and goes, holy fuck. And he's looking around. I thought, oh, now what did I do? I said, what's the matter? He says, you work here all morning? I said, yeah. What's the matter? He says, well, what you did here all morning, it would take Bob,
whatever,
2 weeks to do. I said, well, I'm just working away. He says, oh, okay. So
keep on going.
After that, I was in the good books.
Yeah.
So eventually, I worked up at Free Lake Logging in Cayuga Sound for 2 years, I guess. This was at Harrison Lake, so he got a contract up there. First thing he did was call me. He said, where are you working? I said, I can't remember what I was doing. He said, you want to come up here and work with me? I said, yeah. He said, I'll fly you from Pat Bay Airport The plane will be ready. I felt like a rock star.
Yeah, right?
The float plane will be ready. I just had to drive out. Karen drove me out. Flew out and flew right to Kootenays.
Pape Airport.
On the other side.
Just on the other side
Coast
of
Guard.
Victoria. Oh, yeah.
With Coast
Just
Guard.
right, just like 15 minutes from home.
Yeah. 15
Oh,
minutes
shit.
from home. And he'd fly me right out.
Oh, beauty.
Yeah. And he even gave me a big advance on my pay, and we bought our first house in 1980. And he gave me a big advance on my pay to help for down payment. And
Nice. Yeah.
So
Well, you were doing good work for him, so what the hell?
what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could afford it, so.
Mm-hmm. And he ended up getting his legs smashed really badly.
Mm.
And then I was looking after the thing for, I don't know, about 6 months. The crew.
Mm.
So
Yeah. And that where were you logging at that time?
that was at Free Lake,
Free Lake on the coast of
On
the
the-
mainland.
Cayuga Sound up
Okay.
north of Zabelis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then why'd you start working here on the island? what changed to get you logging at Jordan River? Just as more easier work. You were coming home every night for one, I guess.
well, yeah, just to be home. I think I was between jobs. The guy had to let me go. He got fixed up, and
Gotta take a picture.
he got
Fixed up. Yeah.
fixed up in the hospital. His legs about that much shorter on one
Oh,
side.
Jesus.
He really got smashed. So how did that transpire? Oh, he said to go up and look. Can you look after my crew? Can you look after the contractor? I said, yeah, no problem. So I went up there. Then I got in a big fight with the guy that owned the camp, that owned the contract. He came in one day and it had just been raining. We had rain for 30 days in a row.
Yeah.
Every
it does
day.
that out here.
Just
yeah. Piss and rain.
day and night. And just wore out. And he comes in and he starts quacking about leaving some logs up there, or why did you do that? And I said, how can you just come here, not even talk to me, and just right away start growling at me? And I just told him to fuck it. And then he went back to the guy that had the contract, and he said, if you don't get rid of him, you're out of here too.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
and that's what he told me, and I said, I'm okay, I'll go. No big deal.
Yeah.
So I was between jobs. We went out to French Beach one day, Karen and Chuck and I. Coming back, and Chuck says, let's stop at Dairy Queen in Colwood for an ice cream. I said, okay. So I go in. Standing in front of me is a faller
In his gear.
in his gear.
Yeah.
He's got his pants on, and not his boots, of course. And he's buying an ice cream. And he's coming back from Jordan River. That's where he worked. I said, hey, where are you working? He said, oh, Jordan River. I said, oh, they're looking for any fallers? Oh, no, we're pretty steady out there. I said, have you got the name of the guy with the contract? He said, yeah, Doug. And he gives me the phone number. And so I get home and I call Doug that night. And looking for any fallers? Nope. Click. Oh, okay. Week goes by. Call Doug up. Looking for any fallers? Oh, not at the present. No. Click. And this goes on and on and on and on. I called him for a year.
Jesus.
One day, I'm sitting at home, and now when I'm calling Doug now, we're talking about golfing. We're talking
Yeah,
about
because
fishing.
he's getting to know
'Cause
you.
you-
You're calling every
Calling him every
talking
2
to him
minutes.
more than his wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 in the morning. Hey, looking for any fallers? So he, it's funny. Karen's mom and dad they were coming down for a week to stay with us. I was going to take Bill fishing the day after. Calls me up. Doug calls me up. Can you start Monday? Yeah, I can start Monday.
Can't say no now. It's been a
That's
year.
And that's how I got my job. And then he said, I don't think we'll be working that long. We're just about done here. Now you might get 6 months out of the job. I said, that's okay. What the hell? 25 years later.
No. Jesus Christ.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And
So then I was home every night. I got to start playing hockey again. and
Yeah.
It was just,
that was nice.
it was nice.
What's it like falling on at Jordan River? Big wood or
It was
mix?
mixed.
Mixed, yeah.
Mixed.
Were you cutting some second growth there?
We cut second growth there. We cut, second, third growth.
Yeah.
We cut, and lots of big stuff too. lots of the valleys that nobody been into, lots of big spruce and hemlock. And
Yeah. What's the biggest tree you've knocked down?
oh, the picture in the garage.
That one you're sitting in front of?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that up. I'll put it over so people can see it.
19 feet.
19 feet in diameter?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
That's how big that is, eh?
It had, well, Doug and I fell it, and it was, they sort of said, we got to fall this thing because it's a big candelabra cedar. And
Oh, right. So it's like a main trunk and then a bunch of
a
like
bunch of tops.
whatever branch or tops. Yeah.
And it was close to the West Coast Road, so if this thing ever peeled over, we all knew it was rotten. If it ever peeled over, it would fall right across the road.
Yeah. And then block off the
And kill
community of Port Renfrew and kill some guys,
and
maybe.
kill a bunch of nuns in a bus trip.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it, so we worked on that. There was like a 10-footer on the front. There was a 5-footer going out the side. We had to fall first. Well, I did all the bull work on that because Doug was the boss, right?
Yeah.
So I said, look, cut this one, cut that one. Then we cut the back, and then the middle was just hollow.
Oh, boy.
So we just undercut it, and it had a good lean to it.
Yeah.
So
It went.
went over.
It went over where it needed to go, even though it was rotten.
Even though, well, we got a lot of slabs out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just because it breaks up, I mean, the slabs are, who knows how big they were.
Oh, because when you fell it broke up?
It broke up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just yarded all those slabs out, and they got a lot of wood out of that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's how I started in Jordan River.
Cool. Fuck, my father-in-law's cutting wood. Might pick it up, eh?
Well,
He's renovating his house. He's building shelving or something. He's got full access to my shop, my tools, everything. Can you show me how to use this one?
Oh,
Okay,
you're
sure.
kidding.
Nobody
Oh,
knows
yeah.
how to use everything.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
How long we got left?
Oh, about an hour.
Oh,
We got time for some stories. Now, we've definitely painted a good picture of your like career, your working thing. I'd like to hear like a few. Like I know that there were some close calls out there. There's always got to be some close calls.
There's a lot
out
of
there.
close calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to, just in case like there's some kid who's watching this that wants to be a faller, he needs to know what the fuck is what, right? I'd like people to know the like how dangerous it can be out there, and maybe how much work you guys have done to make it safer too. So, I know that you got like your first aid ticket at some point because there wasn't enough guys out there with their first aid. I know that there's been some trees that have been fell and loaded up pretty springy that you had to buck up. And why don't we talk about a few a few incidences that were like, what do you do here?
When I first started falling, there was alder. We had an alder patch to go through.
Okay.
And alder are always leaning heavy.
Okay.
You never see a straight alder.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Rarely
ever. So lots of times you have to clear the alder. And the reason they clear cut too, everybody growls about it. The reason they clear cut is you can't just dump timber through the timber.
Right.
You either take it all or you don't take any.
Right. Because someone's going to say, well, what about heli logging?
Yeah, there's heli logging, but you still, unless you're picking, what's the term they use? Unless you single stem.
Yeah.
Unless you're picking single stems out and not dropping it.
Yeah. Then you can't do that.
Yeah, well, you do that so you don't have to fire the trees through
the other trees.
Right. Because as soon as you do that, you're ripping limbs off.
Yeah, and you're killing those trees, basically.
Well, you're killing yourself.
Oh, I see.
So remember I said about falling, keep your face smiling?
Yeah.
So now you're always falling your trees into the clear.
Right.
Into the clear. You're not brushing your timber.
Right.
If you're brushing your timber, like the limbs are this big on top of some of these trees.
Oh, yeah.
Or this big. Right?
Yeah, 2-3 foot
so
limbs.
So now you're ripping, and it's just a horrible sound. You're just ripping limbs off.
Yeah.
But they don't all fall.
Oh.
So now after a while, you have to work under where all these limbs are hanging. And as soon as you start wedging, well, that tree gives a little wiggle. Oh, just shake that branch off.
Right.
Then that branch is 1,000 pounds
Yeah.
and it lands on your noggin,
Yeah, you're done.
you're done.
Yeah.
Or it lands on anything. But so that's why they clear cut it. And then they replant it. It grows back up and
And hopefully you can log it
you
again.
log it again, right?
Yeah.
So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm just getting into falling these alders,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know enough yet about the technique to fall it. You put a little undercut in it because they're leaning anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no pulling it, no wedging it, nothing
Because it's
like
going that way.
It's going that way,
Right.
right? So you put a little bird beak undercut in it. You start the back cut and you just keep mowing, and this thing's starting to go over.
You just keep going.
You just keep going and going and going and going and going until it falls off the stump. So you're there the whole time.
Oh, that's fun.
Well, it's the way to do it.
Okay.
Because if you just start going and you leave the hinge, as soon as it hits that hinge, it splits
Oh.
and it'll kick back. So here I am, the first one. It's I don't know. It's
So okay, I just want to explain that. So when the timber, how big is it? How big is this timber? Well, a couple feet,
Yeah.
right? So if you're cutting through and you leave that hinge, the wood itself is going to split in half.
barber chair.
Like it's called barber chair. Okay, and that back half is going to splay out.
Splay out,
And if you're there, it's going to knock the shit out of you.
and it's going to shoot back. Just the mechanics of
Oh,
the
so it
whole
goes
thing.
out and then comes back in.
It'll split up to a certain height,
Yeah,
then it'll break off up here,
yeah.
and it'll shoot back.
Oh Christ, you don't want that.
So you always have on a barber chair. You always see a barber chair. It's got a big sliver of wood stuck up there.
Yeah,
So if you ever barber chair something, you always cut that off so nobody sees it.
yeah.
So I'm working. I got a rock face behind me. This alder is about where the camera is.
Yeah, so 5 feet away.
It's only 5 feet away. So I'm cutting this thing. I knew you just put a little undercut in it. Put a little undercut in. Start cutting the back, and it starts to go. And it
Starts to split?
just starts to split right away. And it goes kaboom, and it shoots back and hits right like into the rock face there. If I would have been standing behind it,
It would have crushed you.
we wouldn't have been doing this,
Yeah.
right? So I thought, lesson number 34.
Yeah.
So there's just the techniques how to do it. So once you get into that groove, all your trees you just keep
going.
just mow it.
And that takes, when you just keep cutting, it relieves that pressure before
Relieves
it can
that pressure.
split.
That's right.
And it'll
Yeah.
just go.
Yeah.
So these things are leaning every which way. So you got to really plan which trees you're going to take first to try and get the clear path for the next tree you're doing. Yeah. Because I mean, if one's leaning back into the trees, what do you do?
Well, you work your way around it.
Okay, clear the space and then drop that after.
Clear and drop that after. There's a lot of planning, you don't just go into their tree, start falling it,
Yeah.
especially when you're opening up
Right.
down below.
Yeah. When
So
you're starting the cuts,
when
like you got nothing. It's all forest.
It's all forest. So now you pack down, like we'd go down 1,000 feet, pack our stuff. It's like being on top of the Malahat and walking down to the water
Yeah.
and starting to work your way up.
Oh Christ. Yeah. It's a big hill.
That's a big hill,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I think the grapple yarder, he goes 1,200 or 1,500 feet out with his cables. But when you get down there, now it's not just little stuff sometimes. Sometimes you have little stuff to fall when you're first opening. You walk down to the line, all the way down. There's a pink ribbon where they laid it out. Don't go over the line, but you have to open up. And you don't want to throw the timber over the line. You don't want to tip it back into the bush. So you have to open it up parallel to the hillside. So you get down there, and now you've got 5, 6, 7 foot spruce that are 150 feet tall. You've got big Jesus cedar, 6, 8 foot cedars. You have to plan where you're going to do this.
Yeah.
You know, you sort of walk along. You find a spot that's a little bit open, maybe, and then you think, I can dump that one into here, and I can dump. It's a big chess match.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to think, I can't, this one's leaning back a bit, so I can't dump it into here, but if I cut this one up and knock it into here, But if that doesn't go, I should have an extra shooter to knock these two down.
Yeah.
So
you're thinking like that. Yeah.
You plan it all out. There again is use your head, not your legs, right?
Yeah.
So you start opening up. You get one or two out. You buck them up. Get two more out. And pretty soon you got a little like a bowling alley in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you work your way over to where your partner is. So he's trying to work that way. You work out towards him. And by the time he's far enough away, you make that connection. You break it open. Now you've got
some space.
Both of you've got space. And you could have all 6 of us down there. We're all trying to join up.
Yeah.
And then we all sort of work as a group. We all work one way. We all work the other way.
Oh, okay.
Back and forth.
Along the front, along the cut line.
Yeah, along the cut line.
Yeah.
So we have it open up and then back and forth. And then pretty soon you're moving up the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
how steep's the hill?
Oh, boy. I'm telling you, I've seen them.
Like you're sitting down, basically.
Right. You get to the edge of the hill and you look, there's nice little Christmas trees. Well, you're looking at the tops and the bottoms are like 150 feet down there.
Yeah.
And then you get on a steep side hill, the balsam or the whatever trees are on there. Now they're leaning up the hill.
Right.
And then what do you do?
Yeah, I don't know.
So you have to work your way. So you have to work over here, clear a little bit of a space. So now you can at least cut it up and hit it that way.
Right.
Right. You don't want them to go down because they smash out everything you've done down there. You've taken the time to tape everything and to buck everything. And now something goes down like this, smashes all that wood that's down there.
Right.
So that's not, and it's a pride.
Yeah, you don't want to you want to do good work.
You want to do good work. You have that pride in it. You don't want to fuck up. You don't want to lose a lot of wood. You want to work quickly.
Yeah.
Right. So
quick, clean, safe.
Safe.
Yeah.
Safe is the main thing. Yeah. What else is out there?
So when those trees go down, and you have to buck them into length, they tell you you're going 8, 10, 12. How long are you cutting these trees up? Because you're doing that as you're falling, right? You're falling the trees down, and then you're bucking them up.
And you're bucking up as you go. You have a bucking card. You keep on your suspenders. And preferred length, I think, was 43 feet. And that way they fit on the trucks nicely.
Mm-hmm.
If you're heli logging, you have to buck the weight.
Mm.
So they.
Have you ever done heli logging?
Yes.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, we had one out there. We didn't fly into it, but we walked down to it and they heli logged everything out.
Okay.
And they were all big cedars. And sometimes you'd have to cut them 18 feet.
Right.
And another 18 feet. And then as it sort of shrinks a bit, you can make them a couple of feet longer. But all your cuts had to drop.
What does that mean?
That means that when you cut the log and buck the log, you can't have slivers holding it to the next piece.
Oh,
you can do that. You can do that if you're the yarding because they can break it.
Right.
But the helicopter, he's got to lift that whole.
Yeah,
piece.
it won't break it off.
It won't break it off. So every cut has to drop. So now it's steep to start with. That's why they didn't put any roads down there. So you got this thing laying there. It's probably 8 or 10 feet, like a wall. It's as high as that. You start at the bottom side of it, and you make your cut that part.
Okay.
And then you go on the other side, the high side. You cut the bottom out, and then you start at the top, and you bring that other cut down.
Right.
And then usually
I just fall in. Yeah.
But everything has to be bucked, and that's a lot of work.
Oh, I bet.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Lots of crawling around.
Yeah, fuck, I've cut like 1 foot wood, after an hour of that. You're broken. With a little saw like this, cutting a few pieces of oak, you remember, or just bucking up some firewood or something. Yeah. Jesus. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. The position you're standing, the weight of the saw, the pushing, it's just, the whole thing is like fucking just brutal.
Well, getting back to what I said earlier about learning how to handle everything.
Yeah.
You have to, I don't want to say this to make it sound like I'm the greatest faller in the world, but there's a mindset. Not everybody can be a faller.
No, I'm sure.
Not yet. There's a nice sunny day like this.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Nice
beautiful.
flat ground.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But it's the miserable days where you're working away and you're soaking, it's raining out and you're soaking wet with sweat anyway. The timber's hard, the ground's hard. You just go, I'm going to finish this.
Yeah.
Right? You just can't sit down and start moaning and whining about it.
Yeah.
There's
It rains like a motherfucker on the West Coast.
It rains
For people
like-
that don't know, it rains.
It rains.
This is a rainforest. It rains. And it, like you said, 30 days in a row is not uncommon.
It's brutal.
Or it might not be 30 days in a row, but you'll have one day of clear every 15 days. And it could go for like 60 days like that.
Yeah.
Easy.
And there's lots of days we've worked, and it sort of snowed a little bit at night.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a sunny day like this, but
And
it's
then the
dripping
shit's
out
all
of the
dripping
trees.
and
And you're wearing your rain gear in the sunshine. And it just,
Yeah.
we had, we were on a really steep part one time. It was all broken up like riffles on the beach. And this big cedar came up. It must have been, I don't know, 8 feet. I keep saying these big trees. They were big trees,
Yeah.
right? It's not like I'm making all this shit up.
No, they're big trees. I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
They're big fucking trees. I've seen some of the stumps.
This thing must have been 8 or 9 feet, and it was leaning up into the gully a little bit. So I worked all morning, and I cleaned that gully out because that's the way this thing was going to go. So I cleaned that gully out, and then I went down and started on the cedar. So I put the undercut in, and I thought, this thing feels like it's rotten.
Yeah.
So then I start the back cut, and the back cut starts to sit down as I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the rule in the bush is when you start falling something, you never leave.
Never leave it.
Never
You
leave
got to
it.
finish it.
You got to finish it. I don't care if you're there till midnight.
Yeah.
You got to finish it. So I start putting some wedges in the back. I knock the wedges in, but the wedges are compressing into the rotten wood.
Right.
It's not doing anything. Really.
Yeah.
I just wanted to keep the cut open.
Yeah.
And I worked on, and it just pissing out, just absolutely pouring out. And I'm working now. And by this time, I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
Right, but sort of grin and bear it. It's not going, and it's not going to go. So I walk up. I'm down about 300 or 400 feet. I walk back up the road, get the big bottle jack. It's about this big.
Yeah.
And it's got to weigh 60, 70 pounds if it weighs an ounce. And so pack that down, cut a hole in the back, try to fit this thing in, try to jack it up, but it just keeps compressing all the time.
Right.
I thought, fuck. Now my arms are just hanging down there like this, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do here? Because now I've cleared everything around it. There's nothing to hit it with.
Right.
Oh, if I cut any more, it could just sort of come down in one big chunk. And
Yeah.
so again, get on my radio, call Newfie. I said, Newfie, I'm having a problem here. Come on over, see what you think. So Newfie has to walk all the way across the face to where I am. That's you hate
couple hundred feet.
You hate to call your partner.
300 feet, 400 feet away.
300. You have to be two tree lengths away.
Okay. Yeah,
usually.
so 300 plus.
And you try not to call your partner because you know it's a lot of work for him.
Yeah.
So he comes over and he says, what do you got? Oh, I said, Jesus Christ. And he's looking at it. Let's try the jack over here. So I cut another little hole, tried to put the jack in. Just keeps compressing. And he says, I don't know what to do. And I'm looking around. And on the next ridge over, there's a big fir standing there. And I said, Noof, if you pack my saw up here, I'm going to bring this jack up. I got an idea. So we walk up, bring the jack up, bring the saw up. Now this big cedar's down there. I'm looking at it. And I'm looking at this fir, and it's sort of leaning down that way. I said, I'm going to smash this fucking thing out. Or I was just
Done.
I was done.
Yeah.
And I wasn't fooling. I don't care about saving wood. I don't care about fuck all.
Just
right?
get this fucker down.
Just get this fucker down. So undercut, back cut. Put a couple of wedges in. and it hits that cedar, and it just, boom, wham. It's like a bomb went off. Nothing left of it.
It was just all rotten wood.
It was all rotten wood. And the fir went angled down, and I cut some pieces of it. I said, let's get out of here. I'm done. I couldn't even unlace my boots that night. I was so froze.
Oh, fuck.
Man.
And how long you work on a tree like that? Like how many hours?
I would have worked on that probably 2-3 hours.
Jesus Christ.
And usually you just undercut, back out, boom.
Yeah.
Right. And you run into that. How often you run into that?
How often? Once a month? Once a week?
It could be once a month. You could have 3 in a week.
Yeah, just depends.
It just depends. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Newfie had one. And he was working beside me. And he called me up one day. He says, come on over here. I want to show you something. So I walk all the way over here.
God, sucker.
What? He said, see that fir over there? And it was the gully and another ridge. And that fir was standing on top of that ridge. He said, I got it all cut up, but it won't go. I'm going to use this one, but I want it to come this way. So I'm going to slingshot this. I said, what are you talking about? Slingshot. I saw them do it on TV one time. It's called slingshot. So I said, okay, let me see that. So the whole idea was you throw this fir to brush the other fir. The other fir would sort of lean back and then come back this way.
Oh, for Christ's sakes.
So, okay, go ahead. So he goes, undercut, back out. This thing goes, but he hits it dead on.
Uh-huh.
Both of them fuck off down the hill. We could hear them traveling for an hour and a half. Boom, 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 right down into the creek. Oh, a nice shot, slingshot. So for 3 or 4 weeks after that, hey, slingshot, how you doing? Oh, God.
Who was that guy that the tree rolled on him? Pinched his ear.
Oh, that was...
Tell us that one.
I was working in a camp, and I was having lunch with the guy out in the bush one day, and we're yakking away. He says, "Never tell you about my brother? My brother and I were falling together. Brother, or he's some relative anyway."
Yeah.
So I said, we're working on in this big fir area. Working. I shut my saw off. So part of when you're gassing up, you always listen for your partner. If your partner's
saw.
For a saw.
Yeah.
If the saw's going, he's working, right?
Yeah, so he's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he shuts the saw off, starts gassing up. It doesn't hear the guy. Waits a bit, waits. He could be
gassing up
too.
Yeah.
So he said, I waited and waited. Nothing happened. So I yelled over. Didn't get a response, so he walks over. This is before we started packing radios.
Yeah.
So he walks over. There's a big fir laying there. And he's calling his name, Bob, Bob, Bob. No answer. He jumps up on the fir, starts walking down one end. Bob, Bob. Doesn't hear anything. Then he hears just a little noise. And, Bob, is that you? Where are you? He's looking around. He jumps off the log, looks down. He's looking around. Then he sees his little hand waving. Bob's under the fir. I guess he was bucking it. I'm surmising that's how it worked. He must have been bucking on the low side and rolled on him.
Oh yeah.
Or sometimes the log will be laying on a stump somewhere, and you do the cut and it'll roll back a little bit.
Right.
So somehow he ends up under this fir, like a 6-7 foot fir. Right, about, I don't know how many hundreds of tons. And it's sitting on his head. And his head sitting on a little sapling he'd bucked off on the other side.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
And every time his partner was walking on top, it would put pressure on that.
On the sapling.
on the big log.
On the big log that was
just
pushing.
Enough,
yeah.
Right? I mean, he only weighed 150 pounds, whatever it was, but just that little bit was, and the log was pushing on. I said, well, fuck. So he said he had to run up, get on the radio, get help down there, get a bunch of jacks and do whatever they had to do to lift that log or move. But they couldn't move it because they were so tenuous down with his head between the other one. So they dug a little channel, he said. We ended up digging a little channel. We stuck the the chainsaw right maybe 2 inches from his head and cut that sapling stump off. And that way we could dig another little channel and pull the guy out.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And his ear was just crinked right over so hard it broke his ear off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the get off the log story.
Jesus Christ.
Get off the... And that's what he was yelling down. He says, get off the log, get off the log.
Oh, fuck.
My
Close
God.
call, boy.
Oh,
Eh?
yeah.
Used up all 9 lives there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day, my partner calls me over, and he said, "I just want you to be here in case anything happens." He said, "I got the one down there is cut up, and I'm going to hit it with this one here." And so he cuts it up, and he hits that one there. It just starts to go, but it comes back the other way. Now it's coming right at us, and we're standing behind a log about as big as this table, and it's coming right at us. So Jim, we can't run either way because now all these branches are coming. So Jim gets right tight against this log or this tree, and I'm right behind Jim. I'm crawling up his asshole. And we're huddled in there like this, and it hits our tree, and I'm trying to look up, and it just scratches down our whole side and breaks all the branches off, luckily, from the one that's coming. And at this point, I'm holding on to Jim. I'm thinking, fuck.
You're in Afghanistan right now. You're just getting bombed.
The last thing in my whole life, I'm holding on to Jim's ass here, like this, right? So, and it just slams down beside us. Oh. All the shrapnel is just coming down, and we're both just trying to crawl into this. If there would have been a knothole, we would have been in there. Right?
Yeah.
And finally, everything settles down, and bits and pieces dropping in. And Jim goes, "Holy shit!" And I said, "Yeah, thanks for calling me over."
Yeah, no shit.
Fuck, and that's how quickly stuff happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just goes on and on and on and on. It doesn't matter. You try to be as careful as you can, working as fast as you can, but
you just never know.
You never know. You never. It could come from the side. It could come from the back. You forgot a tree in the back. It comes down. It just goes.
Yeah.
Right. And you know the people that work. You can work in a planer mill, or you can work in a pulp mill, but it's a controlled environment in there. It's dangerous to work in those places.
Yeah.
But they've got guards over everything.
Yeah.
Why you hear a guy falling into the gears? Well, they've all got guards on. What's he doing falling into the gears?
Yeah.
And when you come into our environment,
there's none of that.
It's not controlled.
Yeah.
How many times have I slipped and hurt myself?
Oh, I've seen you come in with scratches all across your face. And
it's falling down and punch a big hole in my wrist, and it's not controlled. There's nothing. You can't make it safe. You can try as much
minimize the risk.
Minimize the risk, but you can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
It just, as much as you work at it, and we can go in. After a while, you get really attuned to it. You come up to a tree, like when you first start falling, you look at this tree, you look at this, and you look at this, and you look at this, and you look at. But after a number of years, I find when you're walking in, you look at the tree you're going to fall. You look up, and you've taken up everything around it. You've looked for loose limbs. You look for. I mean, I've seen tops laying into the tree I'm falling from, the tree that broke off here, like a 50-foot top, laying in there like a bridge up there.
Yeah.
And you look at that, oh my goodness, you look at that, and you assess everything in 10 or 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And you look at the lean, you got the lean picked out, you realize there's no dangers up top, nothing that you can see that's loose. Mm-hmm. But like I said earlier, sometimes you're banging on a wedge and it just shakes off a broken limb that you didn't see.
Yeah.
Right? So
you just never know.
You just never know. But and it's not that I'm complaining about anything. I'll say to my dying day, I loved all 30 years of it out there. I didn't like being in the cold and the wet, but what the hell? It's part of the job. If I didn't like it that much. There's nothing holding me there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wildlife.
almost got me in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, what other ones are out there?
So you guys, I know you guys used to fuck around out there a lot, like on your breaks and shit.
Oh, God.
Just ridiculous. It's like a bunch. You know what? It's like anything else. It's like when you work with a group of people.
Yes.
Doesn't matter where, and it's a tight knit group. I mean, I remember crazy shit from when I was a server.
Yeah.
Because you're just working with the same people. It's kind of high stress. I mean, we weren't risking our lives or nothing, but it's high stress serving the public. Yeah. And you get close to these people, and you just start doing the stupidest shit, right?
Well, yes.
It's just like that. It doesn't matter where.
Well, when I started out there, I was a lone man on the totem pole at Jordan River.
Yeah.
And Ed, he retired. I worked with Ed for a couple of years, and then he retired at 60. I thought, if he can work till 60, I can probably work till I'm 60 as well. Right. So, and then we started getting the new guys in, and they were 10 or 15 years younger than I was.
Yeah.
So in the end, the older guys had gone. Now I was the old guy.
Yeah.
Old man, they called me.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, sure.
Hey. And sitting in the dry room at night, taking our clothes off. And I still remember Troy one day, we're all sort of sitting there. It had been raining all day, and got our hands on our knees and trying to find the energy to take our boots off.
Yeah.
And then Troy looks over at me and says, "Fuck, old man, I don't know how you do it."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
but he's getting older now.
And he's getting older now too. Oh,
yeah, right?
Yeah, it all goes.
Yeah, it all comes around, yeah.
But like, the joking never stopped.
Yeah.
Between the four of us, it was fun. It was fun to be with those guys.
Yeah.
Right? Get a call. Now we all had radios. So Bob calls me up one day.
A lot of fucking Bobs in your life.
Bobs.
Nobody's going to give a fuck anyway, but yeah.
A lot of these Bobs are still alive.
Yeah.
Called me up one day. He says, "Werner, you got time to come over here and have a look at something?" I said, "What do you got?" He said, "Well, I don't know. I'm working along this rock face, and I know you like rocks, and there's all this, looks like yellow stuff in the rock." I said, "Oh, shit. Okay, I'll walk over." So it takes me 10 minutes to walk over to where he is. I said, "What do you got?" I said, "Over here." "What?" "Right there, that black rock there." I said, "That's, fuck." He'd taken a dump, and there was a corn in the, "You cocksucker, make me walk all this way."
To look at my fucking dump? What a fucking asshole.
It just never stopped.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I've heard a lot of your stories. We've talked, We've smoked cigars and talked for hours. I know you better than my wife. Well, maybe not in that way.
Okay.
Well, you never know, you know.
Shut up.
What was there? There was a tale you were telling me about a deer that got hit by the crummy, or what the fuck was that? Do you want to tell that one?
Yeah,
it's a gooder. I mean, the deer was already dead, so it's not like you were torturing the poor animal. I don't know. I don't even know who did it. So
we were coming to work one morning. We were going up to North Main, and there's 5 of us in the crummy, and come around the corner, and there's a deer laying in the road.
Dead.
Yeah. Could have been hit by a truck, or who knows. Could have been hit the night before. And it was a little fawn, maybe a year old or 2 years old. And we just lay in there, legs out. So I stopped, and I picked this thing up, and I'm holding it. And I was going to throw it in the bush, and I thought, yeah, I'll just put it in the back of the pickup. So the guys are looking at me, and, "What the fuck are you going to do with that?" And I said, "I don't know. It's too early in the day to figure it out." So we drive up, and they got the big machine, the loader's there. And the cab of the loader's probably 15 feet up. You have to jump on the track, go up a couple of steps, go up a ladder, and it's got a little landing area, and then you can open the door and go in. But it's all locked up, so we're just starting our tea. We always have a cup of tea in the morning and coffee. And I put my tea down, and I go in the back, pick this deer up, walk it up on the track up there, and stand it right in front of the door of the loader.
How many feet off the ground's that?
15 feet, at least. So guys are looking, they're shaking their heads. Now they get it, right? So we pull off. We go around the corner past the loader, and we just sit there having our coffee. So then we hear the rigging crew comes up, the loader guys, and you hear the guy there, you go, "Hey, Bob, guess what?" "What?" "There's a deer standing right beside your cab." There's silence. "Fuck off. How could a deer get up there? It's 15 feet up on a fucking ladder. They don't climb ladders." "Listen, I'm telling you, there's a deer." And now he's got his voice lowered. "There's a deer standing right up by your... Get out of here. What's it doing? Oh, it's standing. It's looking around." "Well, it's just standing, right? It's looking straight." Yeah. "What's it doing now?" "Well, it's still standing there. It's not moving much, but it's looking." And a little quiet. Now we're just killing ourselves laughing. "What's it doing now?" "It's just standing there." "You're fucking me around." "No, there's a goddamn deer standing right up there." "Oh, what's it?" Then you hear, "Just a minute here." He's looking up. "It's not moving at all." "What do you mean?" "It's not." And then he goes, "Oh, those fucking fallers."
Yeah, he knew.
They knew. They knew right away. Oh, God, yeah. That was funny.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm.
Beauty. Yeah, just, shit to make the days pass. Otherwise, you take yourself too serious. No,
yeah, you got enough to think about all day long. And that's the other thing, too, is personally myself, I never thought about anything when I was working. I didn't think about the car not working. I didn't think about the mortgage payments. I didn't think about...
Yeah. The troubles or the...
nothing.
Whatever.
I went all day long if I was just concentrating what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to think about anything. And keep your mind on the job.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just... mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
It was cool.
Yeah,
It was
that is cool.
It was cool.
So, just to, I'm sure someone will see this and be like, "You're cutting down the fucking trees and killing all the shit," and but we've come a long way with conservation, right?
We've come a long, long way.
Yeah, it's not like we're just not going out there and slashing and burning and cutting, and it's a lot different now. What are some of the sort of conservation that we're doing now? Like, there's rules, right? You don't just go out there and...
Well, when did the Forest Practices Code come out?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think here. In the 80s, mid-80s maybe. Before that, anything went. If there was a creek there, you just fell everything into the creek. You fell it across the creek.
Spawning creeks.
Anything. If there was elk running through there, you'd pound a tree right down on top of the elk herd. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
But then Forest Practice Code came out. Now all the fallers got a map. This is a riparian zone.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stay 20 meters out on either side of this. There's a creek. It didn't matter if the creek was as big as this glass with just a trickle of water in it. You have to keep
back from it.
Everything was marked on there. This is a wildlife tree. You can't cut this down. There's ribbons all around it. This is the falling boundary. Before, we used to get to the falling boundary and say, "Oh, there's 3 or 4 trees here. If I just bomb them over, they can yard them out."
No more.
Don't go over the line. If you went over the line, you had to report it at night to the office and say, "There's right down here, there's a tree that I had to fall out of here for safety reasons." Everything came down to safety reasons.
Right.
So it was really highly policed, if I want to use that term.
Sure.
They everything had to go by the map. You had to have the forestry guys would meet you in the morning in a new area. When you started, he'd point everything out on the map, and it all depends wherever you went down. You could see where you were on the map, what you could and couldn't do.
Right.
Yeah, and then after it was all yarded, it wasn't a couple of months later, the planters would be in, replant the whole thing.
Yeah. Do we still burn?
No,
No birding anymore.
No, as far as I know now. They put everything in the beaver houses. You can see
Yes.
those big beaver
Yeah.
houses.
Those are the big piles of.
They either just rot, they might burn them. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know now.
Yeah.
So, no, they don't burn anymore.
Do we still do controlled burns, though?
We haven't had not out in Jordan River.
No, like not on the island.
No.
Do we do them in Canada anywhere? Do you know? Because I was just thinking of like big forest fires, like we're getting in Okanagan like a few years ago, and forest fires in Canada or in California.
Well,
there's talk about managing that forest floor better.
I was just going to say, there's the pros and cons now. They said if they would have burned it originally, got rid of all the broken stuff, then you wouldn't have all that fuel laying there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
can they burn with a forest standing?
No.
They can't burn through the forest. There's no controlled burning.
No.
When there's a forest standing.
No.
Okay.
No. They
So you got a lot of fuel on the forest floor, and that's part of the reason why we had those fires in Kelowna in the Okanagan a few years back. They were so big. There was just so much fuel. I think it's pine there, right?
Yeah.
And there was like tons, feet and feet and feet of pine needles.
Right.
So nothing you can do about that?
Nothing you can do about it. No.
I guess you log it, you burn it. Maybe
Log it,
after
burn
the
it, and plant it. And, I mean, there's places I fell in the 80s in Jordan River. That's 30, 40 feet high.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You see it all over the place.
See it all over.
Yeah.
But you never see that. Here's the only political statement I'm going to make.
No, that's fine. You can say whatever you want, bud.
Every time that you see the Sierra Club or the who else is it?
Greenpeace.
The Greenpeacers, they're always standing on a stump and a clear cut.
Yeah.
Always, 100% always. I've never seen them standing in the second growth patch.
Right.
Say this was logged
in
30,
70s or.
And look at it now. Look at how beautiful it is now.
Yeah.
Never. And that's what really irks me about the conservation people that say we shouldn't be doing this. And if we don't do it, then you don't build your house.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what we would build for.
Well, yeah. What would you do?
I don't know.
You can't say shut everything down and buy all your lumber from the States.
Well, it's still logging.
Yeah.
The wood's coming from somewhere, I suppose, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess the best thing would be to manage the forest properly.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big thing that we've started doing, what you were just saying, is keeping those riparian zones, the zones next to the creeks and rivers, to keep those creeks and rivers healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You got lots of fish coming and going,
Mm-hmm.
and then plant and log and manage inside
We had
of
to
those areas.
every if you found a bear den, lots of bear dens were in the big cedars.
Yeah.
If you found a bear den, you'd have to ribbon this thing. You'd have to get the forestry people from the camp to come up and look at it, assess it,
See if there's something there, keep it, or do they make an assessment whether it's being like used?
Yeah.
Oh,
You can see if it's used or not. And
And if you didn't tell them and buck that tree down, you're in shit. if
Well,
they
number
find out.
one, you'd probably if they find out, but you'd probably never see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But if they're going through the area and it's marked on the map, that thing better be there at the end of the.
Oh yeah. Because they go through and assess it first before you guys log it now.
Mhm.
So there's people walking through and
They'll
checking.
follow every creek from top to bottom, or from the road up. They'll follow every little teeny tiny creek like this. They'll follow all the way up. Any bear dens, any wildlife trees, any riparian zones.
Yeah.
So we were working way in the back. It's probably 40 minutes from camp. My partner Bob and I, he calls me over and says, "There's a bear den." I said, "Where?" Big sweeping cedar, sort of like a hockey puck, came out of the
Like a
bank.
hockey stick.
Like a hockey. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Hockey stick. Came sweeping out of the side of the hill, and it was all scheduled to go. And about 30 feet up, there's a hole about that big.
Oh.
I said, "That's not a fucking bear den. Bear dens are down there in the ground, or in the stumps, or in the little cave, or
Yeah.
well, he said, we're supposed to report this stuff. And I said, well, let's call Doug up and Bob up. Pardon me. And he can come and look at it. So we called down to the office. Can you come up and look at it? I think we found a bear den. Okay, I'll be up in 20 minutes. So we sat down and had a bullshit. And here comes Doug. He's down on the road. He's probably 200 feet down. He said, oh, you guys got a bear den, eh? I said, yep. Come on up and have a look. So he comes trudging up. Where's your bear den? I found a little hole about this big right beside a rock, right where we were. I just happened to see it as he was coming up. Where's your bear den? I said, right there. That's not a fucking bear den. I said, yes, it is. Look at it. It's got a hole. And he going, because he knows what we're like, right?
Yeah.
That's not a bear den. I said, it says in the planning that any bear dens we find, we have to call you guys. Yeah, but it's not a fucking bear den. And he's getting really antsy. I said, well, we have to report this thing. Well, Jesus Christ, use your fucking head, you assholes. And goes clomping all the way down the road. And he said, God, I drove up here for nothing. You guys got me out of here for nothing. And I said, oh, well, what about this bear den up here? Oh, for Jesus sakes. And he come clomping back up. Right? And we're killing ourselves laughing. And he says, it is a bear den. I said, you're kidding. And he looks at us and he says, sometimes, if I remember this right, sometimes the female bears will, if they find something like that, they don't scratch it out or anything. They'll go in there and it keeps the cubs safe because now the
males will kill the cubs, right?
Yeah. So the male, he's got a hard time climbing up there and trying to, because she can swat him out of the,
right,
like out of the window sort of.
Yeah.
So it is a bear den. So I said, well, that whole area behind it had to go, and this thing's leaning out of a rock face, just tenuously hanging there.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? I said, fall it. And then I sort of got on my high horse. I said, well, you can't fall that. Me. Just grinding the gears with him. He just fall the fucking thing, and nobody will know the difference. We can't leave it there because it's going to be a hazard. If it falls, it'll land here and go right down to shoot onto the road. So we had to take that one.
Yeah.
But he was quite choked. He said, oh, you fucking guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you got to manage the forest, but, and you got, if you got to take it out for safety and, you don't want to kill somebody.
No.
So obviously at the time you guys are falling, there's no fucking bears around.
There's always bears around.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one day I was.
But they're not nesting in a den.
They're not.
Or how does that work? Where do they stay at night? Do they always go to the den, or how does that work?
Well, they'll have a den. They're not necessarily have cubs with them.
Oh, okay, right.
But it's a nice place to sleep, right?
Right.
So they, one of the guys called me up one day when I was charge handing, and he said, I think I got a bear den over here. So went over, looked at it. It was a big cedar, and it had a tiny split in it, about that big. And I thought, ooh. I said, I've seen them places where they've squeezed into places like that because it's all hollow in the middle anyway.
Yeah.
And I said, well, and it's right on the corner here. I said, I don't know if we could. Problem is, he started cutting and then he noticed that.
Oh.
Now it's got to go.
Yeah.
Right. He's already got a cut in it before he saw it. I said, well, just take it down and I'll mark it on the map and we'll talk about it. So I started walking by to stop by his partner. We're talking, and all of a sudden you see this guy. He comes charging over the felon buck. He's just killing himself, just like fucking bears after him. Well, the bear was in there.
Oh, shit.
And he was doing the top cut. And all of a sudden you look down, the bear's head pokes out of the hole.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So that scared him right. And he come barreling over the felon buck. There's a bear down there. There's a bear down there. Then we could sort of see him crawling all the way out, and then he fucks off into the bush.
Right.
But we had to.
We had to take it. Fucking Jesus.
Or the time Newfie calls me up on the radio. He said, Werner, what? He said, there's a bear coming your way. I said, oh? So I'm looking around. So he was following a tree, middle of summertime. T-shirt on. Something big and black hits him on the shoulder.
Oh, shit.
Well, that's exactly. So he looked up, and the bear was coming down, and had a big shit as it was coming down and landed on his shoulder.
Fuck.
So Newfie goes one way, the bear goes the other way, which is my way. So I said, okay. So I'm looking around. I don't see any bear. I just flashed up again, started cutting, reached back on my pouch because we carried our wedges on our pouch, and I grabbed a handful of hair. It was the moss that I snagged onto my belt.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was a fucking bear. Scared the shit out. I went, yow! And I jumped backwards, and I thought I had him by the
scruff.
By the scruff. And all I could think about, he's going to start eating my legs right away. I fall down, I look around, there's nothing. I pick this up, and a bunch of moss in there.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
So then Newfie comes walking over and says, look at this. And then he tells me the whole story about bear shitting on his shoulders.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
Oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like going out there. We've gone on a couple little hikes to the fishing hole and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when we've gone out. And it's fun being out there. It's fun walking around. And
It's fun, yeah.
yeah, it's fun seeing the trees and the bush. We ran into a bear, you and I, when we were out the Cowichan.
Yeah, at the Cowichan.
Nothing major, but little guy. And he fucked off as soon as we saw him. But it's interesting how often you can run it. And our bears are on the island they're just black bears. So they're not aggressive, not like a grizzly.
No, not like a grizzly, but if the black bear's got cubs,
You're in trouble.
you're still in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was falling right away one time with the machine was coming in to do the right away, and I'm falling tree, and there's two cubs further on. I could see them up in the tree. And the first thing I thought, where's Mama?
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. So I just kept an eye on them. They stayed up in the tree. They were maybe 50 or 75 feet away from the right-of-way, which I was falling. And they eventually they came down. They buggered off to one side, so she must have called them down.
Yeah. You don't want to get between them and the mom.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're in trouble.
And falling right-of-way, that's another whole story in itself, too. It's when
The
you have
right-of-way is the road.
the road before the machines come in and start digging.
Yeah.
It's you have to keep everything parallel to the road. Can't be firing it into the timber because people are going to be working in there after.
Right.
So that's a whole art in itself too.
Yeah.
And your partner will pick up. He'll walk in 300 feet, and he'll do the bottom side first, and I'll come in right from the front. I'll do both sides until I hit his side, until I hit where he started. And by this time, he's at least 300 feet further
Ahead
up.
of you. Yeah.
And then he does the bottom, and I do the top. And you try not to brush each other up.
Yeah.
And you try to leave a trail at the end. The log's hooked up so he can walk out at night
Yeah.
or walk out in the morning. So.
Yeah.
Mhm. And you might be on right away for 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Christ.
And you don't want to get, if you get half an hour away, that's pretty far in case you got to pack somebody out. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're cutting the right of way in, and then they're hauling the timbers out. So they keep, and they're creating like a road behind you.
Behind us.
Yeah. So you're never too far away from help if you needed it.
Yeah. Yeah. What else?
I don't know. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Ever run into any dynamite anywhere?
Um.
Oh yeah, weren't you blasting for a while in Invermere? Drilling or blasting or something?
Well, in the mine.
In the mine.
Yeah.
You never talked about your mining days.
Well, you never asked me
Well, fuck. Here I am.
how long we have. Still got time?
Oh fuck. Got all the time in the world, bud. I've got 8 hours of record time left. We're not gonna go 8 hours, but
I didn't bring a lunch.
We'll do a part 2 at some point. But
Okay.
let's talk a bit about mining, and then we can wrap.
Okay, the first mine I worked in, I still lived in Invermere. And they had a mine probably an hour and a half away. It just went straight in. It didn't go down. Went straight in and all the drifts.
Straight into into the hillside.
Into the mountain. Into the mountain.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because you're in Vermeer, you're like in the Rockies, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a lead and zinc mine, if I remember correctly. And one of our buddies worked up there. So one day, my friend Bob comes up and says, "Let's go see if we can get a job at the mine up with our other friend Bob." So he said, "I think we should just pack a suitcase in case we get hired." I said, "Well, yeah, okay, if that's what you want to do." So we packed a suitcase each and we drove up to the mine site. And the foreman happened to be there. And we met him just in the middle of the yard. We just parked the car, got out. "Looking for any miners?" "No, don't need any miners today." I said, "Oh, okay." So we're ready to get back in the car. The cook comes out of the cook shack. He said, "You guys looking for a job?" And my buddy goes, "Yeah, we're looking for a job mining." "Well, we don't have what did you say?" He said, "We're looking for a job mining, but they don't have any openings." So the cook said, "Well, I'm looking for a bull cook." And we both looked at each other and said, "What the fuck's a bull cook?" And I said, "What the hell's a bull cook?" He said, you go in the bunkhouse and you clean out the rooms every night, you make the beds, or every morning you make the beds while the miners are working. Clean the rooms, clean the bathrooms. And my buddy says, "Fuck, we're not looking for a bull cooking job, we're miners." And I'm looking at Bob. And we've been in a little cave, right?
Yeah.
We're not fucking miners.
Yeah.
We've never seen the inside of a mine in our lives. And I looked and I thought, I'll do it. I figured I'm up here then.
Yeah.
Right? So Bill goes, "Fuck, you serious?" I said, "Yeah." "Okay." He gets back in his car and
he fucks off and
leaves me there. And he said, "Come on, I'll show you your room." So he shows me my room. He says, "This is the bunkhouse. This is what you do. Clean all the, like I just said, clean the rooms, do all that." Okay. So our other friend, he comes in that night. He's sitting on his bunk. He's reading a book. And I said, "Hey, Bob, how you doing?" "What the hell are you doing up here?" I said, "I'm a bull cook." "Now what? You're the bull cook?" "Oh, for Christ's sake." I said, "Well, I'm looking for a mining job, but they didn't have any." So we had to laugh together. So I did that for 4 or 5 days. And every day at dinner time, the foreman, he'd be in there having dinner. And I'd say, "Bob, looking for any miners today?" "No, don't need a miner today." Okay. This went on. Next day, "Look for any miners?" "No." Next day, "Look for any miners?" "No." Next day, "Look for any miners?" "I'll tell you what, we need a fucking miner. Get off my back." So 2 days later, want to go underground?
Really? Just like that?
So just like that, and I was underground. He said, "What do you?" Or he said, "I'm going to put you on the Grizzly." So I went from the bull cook to working on the Grizzly.
Whatever the fuck that is.
I said, "What the fuck's working on the Grizzly?" I had big visions of bears, and I said, "I'll meet you here. I'll meet you up at the portal," because the portal was 2 big plywood doors. They were probably 40 by 40, and they closed up.
Oh, Jesus.
And so that's how they got all the equipment in there. And all the ore went down. There's a tunnel, a raise, blasted down to the crushing unit, which is, 300 feet down below, 400 feet down.
Inside
Inside
the
so
mountain.
you dumped all the ore down and went, so you didn't have to haul it around.
Mm-hmm.
Went straight down to the crusher. The crusher would crush it down there. They put it on the truck and they take it wherever they took it.
Yeah.
So it takes me over to the Grizzly. And the Grizzly was about, 20 by 20 or 40 by 40. It was railway track on 2-foot squares. So each hole was almost as big as this table. And they dump all the ore on top of that, and it would go down to the crusher. So my job on the Grizzly was, I had a safety line tied onto me, was anything they dumped on there, if it didn't go down the hole, I had to smash it with a sledgehammer.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So I was walking around these railway tracks all day long.
Yeah, with holes everywhere. They go 300 feet down.
Well, the hole, yeah. If I slipped off the hole, I'd go down this hole.
Yeah.
Or off the track, I'd go down that hole, right?
Yeah.
But I had the safety line. So I thought, well, and I'm looking around. I'm standing, he said, okay, the scoop tram will be over in a little bit and he'll dump a load here. So I'm standing there, looking around, playing with my light because it's the first time I'm underground. And got my hammer, big sledgehammer. Then I could see these lights coming down the drift. And they're getting closer and closer and closer. And I'm thinking, geez, I hope that guy sees me. And I'm going like this with my light. And he's getting closer. All the scoop tram is all just a big front end loader that doesn't have the high cab on it, right? So they can fit.
It's just pushing it.
No,
He's got a bucket. Oh, he's got full
big scoop.
Oh, big scoop. Okay.
And he's getting closer. Now I'm sort of backing up, watching where I'm stepping. So now I'm right at the back of this because it's the dead end. I'm right back against the rock. And this guy's, I thought, holy fuck, he doesn't see me. He's going to pour all that stuff on top of me. And he gets right to the edge, and he just starts to dump, and he shuts the machine off. And he looks at me and he says, so you're the new guy today? I said, yeah, how can you tell? I can hardly speak now. He said, I do this to everyone, all the new guys. He said, I can see your eyes going like a deer in the headlights going,
fucking asshole.
He said, I knew you were there. Don't worry about it. He said, next time just stand over to the side. I'll dump it, and then you do what you have to do, right? So I get out there and pound on these rocks until
they fall down the hole.
Fall down the hole.
What a fucking job.
What a fucking job.
Literally swinging a sledgehammer. Mm-hmm. It's like putting in it's like when you watch those shows and those guys are digging the cut for the railroad.
Yeah.
Basically the same fucking job.
Same thing, except you're standing on the tracks.
Yeah.
And you're trying not to slip. You're trying to, if you had to break these rocks up.
Oh, brutal.
You've got your feet on something.
Yeah.
But now you're standing on the tracks, which are railway tracks. So.
And what's between the railway tracks?
Nothing. Just a hole.
Seriously?
Well, it's like a grid.
Oh, fuck, I didn't get that.
Oh, it's like a grid.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
So 2 foot squares, right? So I don't know how many hammers I lost because you take a swing and it bounces off and you sort of, the momentum takes the hammer and down the ore chute.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So I don't know how long I did that. And then they put me with a miner who actually was a miner who knew what to do. And then that's when we were drilling and blasting. So he did all the drilling, and I hauled powder or moved hoses, or he had what's called a mini jumbo, and it's like an air track, and it's got the 2 drills on it, so he could drill it. So we did that for worked there probably 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Didn't that guy turn out to be a little crazy?
No. No. He drilled all these holes in the ceiling of the stope. We were in a big stope, big room, and he drills all these holes in the ceiling. And then the shifter, the foreman, comes by and he says, "How much did you shoot all those holes today?" He said, and then now they're talking to each other, and I'm just a flunky, right?
Yeah.
I know nothing about nothing. And he said, well, we can't shoot all those holes. Fuck, it's too much. There was about, 80 or 90 holes. And the shifter said, you got to shoot those tonight. I want you to shoot them. And the miner's going, oh, fuck. Okay, you want me to shoot them? I'll shoot them. So we loaded all the holes up, and he ran the wires. So the room is at the end like this. This is the big stope room. And came around like this, made a big corner, and the drift went right down until he got to the portals doors. So I said, and he's unreeling the the wire. That's all hooked up to the blast. Reels all just about 3/4 of the way down to the doors. And he has one of these plunger things.
Yeah.
So,
You're gonna pop 80?
Yep. And
holy fuck.
And the whole time he's mumbling to himself, the fucking guy, Jesus Christ.
And that's the way you would shoot them all at one time?
Yeah, but usually you don't shoot them all at one time.
Okay.
Usually you shoot maybe 20 or 30 or...
And then the machine has to go in, clear it all out.
And then you can shoot the rest.
But then that takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, well. So I said, and there's water pipe and fan pipe going along the side of the drift. I said, hang on to that water pipe. So I put my arm around this water pipe, which is like a 3-4 inch water pipe. He hooks it up to the plunger.
He's telling you to hang on?
He's telling me to hang on.
Are you fucking serious?
No, this is true. This is God's truth.
Like, you shouldn't have to hang on.
No, you shouldn't have to hang on. Usually if he's shooting 3 or 4, you sort of crouch down and you pop it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hanging on, and he hooks up and he pulls the lever up, and he said, looks at me, I said, you ready? I said, yeah, I guess so. Well, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm hanging on. He pushes that thing. Well, wham! This fucking, there's nowhere for the concussion to go except
past you guys.
Around the corner, past us. I'm flying through the air backwards. I land in this big puddle. Luckily, there wasn't any big jagged rocks.
It actually pushed you?
It picked me up and threw me down the drift, and picked him up and threw him down the drift. We must have gone 20 feet in the air. And the last thing before my light left my helmet, I saw a big sheet of plywood coming over our heads. Now we're laying in the dark. And I'm thinking, holy fuck. And I'm fooling around, and, well, you know, your light's hanging on by a cord there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I get my light up, finally get my light going. And I'm looking around. It's like a big fog.
Yeah.
And he's laying on his back too. And he's just screaming. He's just going, Jesus, fuck, I told that fucking guy, you know, we shouldn't have shot this and blah, blah, blah. We got ourselves organized, and we just walked out to the doors. I blew the doors right off the front of them.
Holy fuck.
There was shit. The shifter got fired. The miner, they came and talked to me about it, and he said, well, he was arguing against not doing it. He wasn't advised, but the shifter kept saying, shoot him. So what else could he do? He could have said no.
Yeah.
He could have said no, but I guess
he just felt like he had to do it.
Well, he got his hackles up. He said, okay, you want it? You want to do it? We'll do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, just to piss him off. So blew the doors right off, blew all the fan pipe, the ventilation pipes off the side of the drift. So they had to shut the mine down for 8 or 10 hours. And next morning, I got up and I'm walking across the yard to go to the cook shack, and it's a blue sky day like this. And there was a big wind all of a sudden, and the snow was flying. And I got my head down, and I walked into the cook shack, and as soon as I walked in the door, all the lights went out. And I thought, what the hell's going on? And everybody's thinking the same thing. Well, I don't know if it had anything to do with us shooting that stuff, but it started an avalanche. Avalanche came down, hit the powerhouse, which is sort of blocking the cook shack down here. And it steered the avalanche off to the side a bit, but it punched right through the galvanized sheeting on the powerhouse, knocked some of the motors off their bases, and the guy that was working said broke his leg. The engineer broke his leg, and that shut everything down. So now we had to get him out, but the road was all blocked because it came right down
over the road
and everything. So
we're talking a snow avalanche. This is wintertime?
Wintertime.
Yeah.
So we had to shut the mine down. They laid everybody off until everything could be fixed. And
welcome to mining.
Welcome to mining.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. I can always.
How long were you in the mines for?
Well, I worked there.
Because you got laid off after like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, about a month. I was there for about a month, and then the next mine I worked in was Yellowknife. And Again, I was working at the shipyard. This must have been 75, maybe. Got laid off at the shipyard.
In Victoria.
In Victoria.
Yeah.
And they saw an ad in the paper, they're looking for welders up in Yellowknife. So I thought, go up and go welding for a month or two. And so I got up there, and it was cold. It was, again, winter. It was
Yellowknife.
40 below. And
it's cold up there.
my job was, they'd back the big cats into the maintenance shed. Doors were open, and the tracks on the cats were this big, that wide.
Yeah, like 2 foot wide tracks.
And the grouser bars on top of the tracks. But they'd snap off because it was so cold.
And you have to weld them back on?
And I'd welded them back on.
Jesus.
So I did that for a while, and then I thought, fuck,
that's brutal.
That's brutal. They can't have any heat in there because the doors are open, right? So I went and saw the shifter and said, "You guys looking for anybody for underground?" He said, "Yeah, we could use a couple of laborers." I said, "Put me on the
on the list."
Put me on the list. So
yeah.
Next day I went underground.
And it's warm it warmed down there.
It's
right?
warm down there. Well, compared to up top.
Yeah.
We still wore like a heavy shirt and rain gear all the time.
Oh yeah.
It was always dripping.
Dripping. Yeah.
And so we were going through our safety orientation. So there's, I don't know, half a dozen of us in the room, and all of a sudden the alarm bells go off. And guys come in, they're getting all this rescue gear out, and they all go charging out and say, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, one of the guys, and it's again, all the ore that you cut, you dumped it down the ore chute, down to where the crusher is. But here we're talking, I don't know, the shaft was probably 2,000 feet.
Holy fuck.
And we were going down to 1,400 level. But one of the guys that was driving the little tram cars, they'd have the motor, which is just full of batteries, and 5 or 6 tram cars behind, and he'd pull them along and they'd dump automatically down the ore chute. They'd just roll up and dump over. Well, one of these cars had been sitting all night. They put the ditching, cleaning the ditches off so the water could flow in the drift. They put it in there, settled in there like cement. And when this thing tipped,
it just kept going.
It just kept going.
And pulled the whole thing down?
And pulled the whole train down.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
And the guy went with it.
Oh, fuck.
And they couldn't figure out where this train was. And then finally they got a clue when the train got sucked down the ore chute. It sucked the train down so quickly, the lid that covered all the batteries, which was...
Yeah. Fell off.
Got sucked. It just dropped.
Right.
It's like pulling a tablecloth out.
Yeah.
So the whole fucking works went down.
Oh, fuck.
And so now they had to find... they had to call some of the old miners that worked there years ago and figure out how to get to the tunnel that would get them to the top of where all the ore was stacked up.
Oh, right, because it was way lower.
It was way lower down there.
Oh, Jesus.
So it was about 400 or 500 feet lower. So by the time all that, and we finished our meeting a couple hours later, just as we were going by the cage comes up, opens the door. There's this fucking guy that went down. He's got his hands behind his head. "Hey, how you doing, boys?"
What?
He broke his leg. He went down, and the ore chute sort of went down like this, like zigzag. He landed on top of that muck pile with 5 cars in the motor, and he broke his leg.
Jesus, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Ride of his life.
Right. So when you're talking falling in the bush and crap happening.
Yeah.
Right? Happens everywhere. And he was a Frenchman, and everybody called him Lucky Frenchie after that.
Yeah.
Right. Just broken leg. And he was, "Hey, how you doing, guys? Guess what? I just went down North and blah, 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 blah."
Yeah. Fuck.
fuck.
Fuck me.
So then I got to go down 1,400, and like I said, I was just a laborer, but going down that cage,
Oh, fuck.
and it just dropped like a rock.
Oh, really?
And it's not enclosed like an elevator.
Right.
And
You're seeing the rock going by.
You see the levels going, chung, 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 and you think how far it is below you.
Yeah.
But you think where the old man, one of the reasons I wanted to work in the mine, because the old man worked in the mine.
Yeah.
And he always had these old pictures of working on the mucking machine. But where he worked, it went down 7,800 feet.
Holy Christ.
It was almost 2.5 kilometers. Inco nickel mine goes down 7,800 feet, I think.
Oh.
That's a lot.
Half the day to get down there, for fuck's sakes.
And the old man always told us about the mine stories about big rats down there. And then he told us one day they were doing a safety test on the cage. And they dropped the cage down, just free fall it. And then boing, it was just like being on an elastic band.
Like that steel cable would stretch.
It would stretch, boing, boing. But they forgot there was 2 guys got on there. And they're boinging down
like
over.
Bungee jumping.
Fuck, he said those guys were just gibbering when they got out of there.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Can you imagine free falling in that cage?
Oh, no, I can't. Every time I went down, I thought about that.
Oh, my gosh.
And even when they stop you at your level.
Yeah, it bounces, right?
I think it's going like this, right?
God, it's amazing. A thick 2-inch cable will stretch like an elastic band.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine just the weight of the cable alone?
Yeah.
Thousands of pounds.
And that's why you weren't allowed to go down with any big tools like, what do you call it? The drill they use. I'll think about it in a minute.
Yeah.
You can't have all that equipment in there because if it starts to bounce,
it'll move around.
You'd be like being in a blender.
Yeah.
Right. So it was just.
And I'm sure they learned all these lessons the hard way too.
Well, and then the old man always used to tell us about, well, not us, but if I asked him specifically about it, he said they'd have air blasts in the mine because it was so deep, and the pressure in the rock, so you got your drift, and the pressure in the rock on each side was so hard sometimes it would just go boom and would blow the walls in. It was like dynamite going off on either side of the wall.
Just because the rock would just compress in?
Compress so much that the weak point, and it would just implode.
Holy Christ.
He said a lot of guys got killed like that. So
unreal.
And I think and that's where I learned to do my own drilling, like on a drift face.
Yeah.
Drill the big center hole, do the outside holes, and wire it up so the holes on either side of the center hole would implode. That gives it the rock somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And the other ones would implode in, and then your lifters pick everything up and break it all up.
Yeah.
It just, what I really didn't like, sometimes when we shot in a stope in the ceiling, you have to pick out what's called loose. Any loose bit you had, you had to pick it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there was a big chunks of loose, like the size of a car, and you knew that they were tenuously hanging there, you had to rock bolt them in.
Oh, so they didn't fall out.
Yeah, but now you're drilling underneath.
Into a loose rock.
And I thought, oh, fuck. Every time my job was to do that, I thought,
because it comes down, it's fucking done.
Yeah,
it's just you don't even know.
You don't even know. Yeah. But I thought something oxymoronic about it.
Yeah.
Drilling to make it safe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Christ.
And conversely, then one day I had to a couple of days. They put me in a big room, big stope, and they had all the big rocks, big boulders in there that couldn't fit down the ore chute. And you just drill down about that much, put half a stick of powder in it, wire it all up. And at the end, and everything was shot from the surface. So everything was hooked up, All the miners went up. You put your tag on. You had 2 tags. When you went down, you took a tag with you, so you knew number 22 was down there.
Everyone's accounted
So when
for.
you come up, you put the other tag on. So now there's 2 tags on the board.
Yeah.
So everybody knew that you're up. So I drill. Sometimes I'd have 5 rocks. Sometimes I've had 12 rocks. Or I drill them, put the powder in, wire them all up, and to check to make sure everything was hooked up properly. You had a battery.
Mm-hmm.
I touch the 2 ends. The red light would go on. Everything was hooked on perfectly. Then you hook it on to the ones coming out of the wall. And then they'd shoot it after everybody's out. But I always thought, these caps, electricity sets these caps off.
Yeah.
And I'm hooking it up to a battery.
Yeah.
And every time I still remember, every time I did it, like the little unit was like this, I go.
It wasn't enough to get the caps to blast. That's the idea, right?
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
still.
I know. You just never fucking know.
You never fucking know. You never know. So anyway. Yeah, it was kind of interesting, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't see any of the big stope rats the old man used to talk about.
Rats?
Rats.
Like actual rats?
Rats. But they call them stope rats because they were like cats.
What the fuck were they living on down there? Guys bringing their lunch down there?
Maybe their lunches or any garbage that was left. I don't know.
Crazy.
Or they got trapped down there, or who knows.
Weird.
They live everywhere.
Yeah, they do.
And Dad used to say they'd see one and they'd throw rocks at it, and they'd knock it out, or killed it, or whatever. But if it was just knocked out, they'd get a blasting cap, wrap it around, and then just sort of sit back. And as soon as the thing go, I'm free, they go,
bam! Oh,
Jesus Christ. So
what else are you going to do for fun down
what
there,
else
right?
are you going to do? Right, yeah. Have to have a bit of humor.
Oh, Jesus. Rats the size of cats.
Yeah.
Insane. How long were you underground for?
Oh, it wasn't long, 2 months maybe. And then it just got too cold. And I thought, I've had enough.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that much ice on the inside of my bunkhouse window.
Really?
Oh, yeah. How can you'd have to insulate. Why put windows in?
Yeah, you shouldn't have even had windows.
No. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, those
different.
miners are earning their money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's noisy, and it's not so much dusty, but just the noise and the fact that how deep you are. Right. There was a lot of work.
Yeah.
It was so they needed laborers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the thing, if you got to go drilling, then you can make a bonus. If you drilled it all out, wired it all up at the end of on your paycheck, I don't know, made $50 difference or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I realize it's not something I want to do the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, your dad did it for his whole career. That was what he did?
Well, he did it for I don't know how many years. When he was younger, too, in Germany, he worked in the mines.
Mm.
What did he work? Probably 10 years in the mine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, long time.
Long time. Long enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
Crazy. Did your dad move out to Victoria after?
yes, they all ended up out here. Mom moved out. They split up. Then Mom moved out here, and then Mom called me up one day and says, "Come on over to the." She lived in an apartment on Bay Street.
Mm-hmm.
Come over for a coffee. I said, okay. So I come over, and the old man's there.
Mm.
I hadn't seen him in, I don't know, 6-7 years.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
so they ended up getting back together for a couple of years, then they split up again. So
Yeah.
one of those things.
Yeah. And your old man moved here too then?
Yeah.
And stayed here after
And
they
stayed
split
here.
up and everything? Yeah.
He got a job right right by Fairways on the Gorge.
Yep.
The apartment building right there.
Mm. Oh, as a
Manager.
yeah.
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 So.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Good to get out of those mines and retire out of an
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
easier job. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you do something where you guys were blasting outside and the one guy did like this huge was that you?
One guy did.
Like you guys like just popped like the side of this mountain off?
Oh, that was Yeah, this was up in Cowichan someplace, and we worked there. I was just a driller's helper. They had an air track,
Oh, okay.
and he was taking a corner off a logging road. And we drilled for a week. All the way,
Holy shit.
that whole corner off. And then he said it was a ton of dynamite. And we loaded all that up and
A
shot
ton.
it. Yeah,
And shot it in one go.
in one go. It was a boom.
If I can probably felt that from down here.
Oh boy, yeah, that was first time I got a what do you call it, nitro headache,
Oh,
because the fumes off the
off the dynamite.
off the sticks.
Yeah, the nitro.
Yeah,
I didn't know it gave you
yeah, it gives you a headache because you're close and you're
the
pounding it.
nitroglycerin.
Yeah. Lots of times they put one stick of powder in and fill it up with ampho,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of spending money on the dynamite, and it gave you the same effect.
Right.
But here he didn't fill it. We just filled it with powder, with sticks.
Just with sticks.
Yeah. Every hole had about 8 or 10 sticks in it or something.
Holy shit.
So,
Wow. And do you have to wire each stick?
no, you just do the first one.
First one.
Well, the first one goes in, has a cap in it.
oh, and then you put more on top of it.
Put more up, and it all goes.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. And that was, you were just helping.
Just the guy was, I don't know, I was between jobs or something. Guy just wanted somebody for a week,
Yeah.
and that's a boring job.
Oh, no kidding.
Drill.
Yeah.
So I'd change the steel and move stuff about or do whatever you wanted done. So
Yeah.
just stood there all day and listened to that fucking.
Oh, that fucking drill is so loud. They're so loud.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
for anyone that doesn't know, it's like it's like running a hammer drill
Mhm.
and just drilling into a piece of stone or something
Yeah.
all day, but way fucking louder.
Way louder. Well, think about doing it in a drift or
Oh my God.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's like taking one of those big jackhammers and going into your bathroom and
Yeah. Into the bathtub.
yeah.
Trying to jackhammer out a cast iron tub.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was all good.
Yep.
Got me
Got you here.
here.
You made it.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Well, I told you that one when we were in Invermere. The guy I went out there with, we were driving. He had that TR3, and we take it out in the bush road sometimes.
Really?
Oh yeah. And
Poor little British car.
poor little British
Was it
car.
convertible?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You hang your hand over the edge and it'd be dragging.
Oh,
on the
yeah,
pavement.
little car. Yeah.
Little car. So we were. Driving the bush roads one day, and we stopped, poking around at this old mill site or something. I can't remember what it was. And I walked into the bush a little ways, and there's this shed made out of railway ties. And it's about 12 feet tall and, I don't know, 10 by 10. I'm thinking, what? And there's no door on it, but it's all made of railway ties, right? Oh, I'm thinking, that's a pretty skook-up little shed. And I'm poking around, there's a little lip on the top. And I looked up, and there's like a little attic space, and there's an old box of dynamite. I thought, oh, that'd be great for the living room. It said dynamite on it.
Oh,
wooden
yeah.
box, right?
Yeah.
Pulled it, give it a pull. It's full.
Oh, fuck.
I'm thinking, oh, holy shit. So I called Bob over. I said, what? I said, here, I'm going to hand this down to you. Handed it down. He says, holy shit. We got to let this off. Well, of course we do, idiots.
Oh, why wouldn't you? It's dynamite.
Why
It's
not?
waiting to be.
It's waiting to be used.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we put it right in the door of the shed, and we always had 22s with us.
Yeah.
So we get back, I don't know, not 50 yards, and we're going bang, and you could hear it hitting the box, pop, 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 pop. And my buddy Bob, who knows a little bit about dynamite, I didn't know a thing about it
At this point,
at
yeah.
this point. He goes, we got to get the bigger guns. We got to go to town and get the bigger guns. So, and being the fucking morons that we were, or I was, I said, okay, get in the car. I put the box on my lap. We couldn't leave it in the bush. It's probably been sitting there for 30 years, right?
Yeah.
Why? I'm still to this day, I'm wondering why we brought that box into town with us.
Jesus.
So we drive in, and Bob says, I need a milkshake. I said, yeah, get me one too. So we stop in front of the Copper Cup Cafe, right in the middle of town.
The
sun's
box
out.
of fucking dynamite. Now, how many sticks are in this box?
There's probably
Like
I'm
50
thinking
sticks?
40 sticks at
Yeah.
least. At least. Some were used out of it, but it was pretty well a full box. And I'm sitting there. I'm waiting. He goes in, getting a couple of milkshakes. This box is sitting on my lap. I'm looking around. And one of our other buddies comes by. He said, hey, Werner, what are you guys doing? Because he knew Bob's car.
Yeah.
So, look what we found. Box of dynamite. He goes, ooh, and he backs right up and goes, ooh, yeah, that's very nice. And all the way down the street, he's backing up going,
Just scurrying away.
fuck. Probably thinking what a bunch of idiots. Well, we were a bunch of idiots. That was completely not kosher.
No.
So we go to his place, get to 30-06, drive all the way back out there. It was about, I don't know, an hour's drive. Put that box right back in the doorway, and Bob takes a shot, whack, and it hits the box. Nothing happens. And we're laying behind an old log that's been left there. So we're laying on our stomachs. He's got the gun. And he puts another shell in the gun. It goes, bang, whoom, and this fucking box goes off. And that movie, The Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid,
Yeah.
where they blow the train car up,
Yeah.
it was just like that. It just went wham, and there wasn't anything left of that railway tied construction. It was smithereens. And it just, we ducked down, all this shit flew over our heads.
Chunks of railroad tie.
Yeah. Just chunks of it. And we looked at each other and we couldn't hear a thing.
Oh, fuck.
And our eyes were like this. And I said, you think that was a good idea? But just something that had to be done, I guess. I don't know. One of those stupid.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Dodged another bullet.
Yeah. Lucky. 2 kids killed. In town.
Instantly.
Oh, fuck.
If that would have hit us, if anything would have hit us, it's like the old naval battles with the cannonballs going through the oak.
Yeah.
Splinters and stuff, right? Or just, boy, there's nothing left. Even the platform was gone. We're looking
Seriously?
up- seriously. A whole box of powder,
Yeah.
right? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yep.
Too bad. That would have made a nice hunting cabin or something.
Yeah, that would have, taken that apart. It could have been a good meat smoker or anything like that. Jesus. Yeah. But
Yeah, you didn't know.
we didn't know.
Yeah,
Well,
you probably knew a little
we
bit.
probably knew a little bit about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Fuck me. Well, you dodged another one.
Dodge another
Yeah,
one.
you're dodging bullets all over the place, aren't you?
See, it all stems back to the taxi cab.
Yes. Right back. This story goes full circle now.
Yeah. Jeez.
Beautiful. Well, Warner, I think that's pretty much a wrap there. That was a
Oh,
great story to end on.
thank the fucking
Blowing the
Lord.
half the town of Invermere up, almost.
Oh, Jesus. If it would have been an accident or
Oh, fuck.
who knows.
That was old.
Yeah.
That was old dynamite. It was probably unstable at that point.
It was unstable. Yeah, it was. Even in the heat there, you could feel it sweating a bit.
Oh,
The nitro coming out of it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Fun and games.
Fun and games. Well, it was good. It was good to learn about you, learn
Yeah.
about your story.
Yeah.
We'll have you on again. We'll talk politics.
Ooh.
Ooh, shit.
I don't talk politics and I don't talk religion.
Well, let's do it. Let's have a big fucking argument.
Oh, God. Yeah. There's
Cool.
Lots of other stuff I can't remember offhand, but
Well, when you remember them, write them down, and we'll We'll have another discussion.
Okay.
One that isn't 3.5 hours.
Is it?
Well,
No, come on. Holy Jesus.
I know. You see that?
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, 3 and a bit hours. It's pretty good.
Wow.
Should cut these at. 3 is a lot.
3 is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Jeez.
good. Good story. Good stories. Someone will get something out of this.
Yeah. All the Bobs in the world will be calling me up and saying,
Yeah. Once they see it, you'll have to. Yeah. Once I get it uploaded, you'll send them a note, and they'll be like, "Hey, that fucker, that's me. She didn't use my name."
yeah. No, don't want to use anybody's name.
Yeah. It's all right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. It's been a long time. I mean, what
Jesus.
the hell, Christ?
Yeah.
You've been retired now for how many years?
11 years now, I guess.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All those stories are.
And all the rest of them are 48 years, going on 48, 50 years
Yeah.
now. So,
Yeah. Beauty.
Beauty.
All right, that's a wrap, brother. Thanks so much for that.
Wrap her up.
I'm sure some people will get some good enjoyment out of this.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, man. Cheers. That's it.
Whoa.